crisp, warm, humid night here in South Florida for the Miami Dolphins home opener against Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts on ESPN's Monday Night Football. Peyton Manning returns to the site of Super Bowl 41 glory. Can the Dolphins stop him tonight?
I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord.
Welcome to ESPN's Monday Night Football launch, engineered by the GMC Sierra. From 1 win to 11 last year, the Miami Dolphins set to take off the top of the 2009 season with the Colts in town. With that, we say good evening and we welcome you to the wrap-up of Week 2 of this NFL season. You've got a Miami Dolphin team where there's a little bit of buzz and excitement around this place. New ownership, some celebrities that bought small pieces of the team that Bill Parcells has rebuilt on the field. They went worst to first because they took care of the ball last year. An NFL record-tying performance. 13 turnovers, but Week 1 against Atlanta, 4 turnovers. Next week, they go to San Diego. Put that together. Important game tonight. And here come the Colts. Used to be able to write down the Colts for double-digit wins, a playoff appearance, almost guaranteed. Maybe some questions about this team this year. The coaches changed. Tony Dungy in TV. Marvin Harrison essentially retired. And more questions around the Indianapolis offense than we're used to. But Ron Jaworski, John Gruden, they still have the guy, Peyton Manning. And as we were talking this week, getting ready for the game, I love your nickname for Manning. What do you call him?
I call him the Sheriff.
Why?
I call him the Sheriff because every town he plays in, he lays down the law. And if you're on defense and you make a mistake against this guy, he will punish you. Peyton Manning feels no pressure. He applies pressure. And I've been around this game a long time. Nobody has more passion and dedication for pro football than Peyton Manning. He's 100% healthy. His offensive line is intact. Tom Moore, Howard Budd have returned to help him, and he is the reigning MVP. This is going to be a big year for the Sheriff.
The Sheriff. We're in the Sheriff's town tonight, no matter where it is. All right, chasing him. 2 30-something guys who are on the edges, good pass rushers. We're going to try and make it a tough night for him. Joey Porter and Jason Tim.
The Dolphins play a base 3-4 defense. Their 3 down linemen do an excellent job maintaining the line of scrimmage and allowing the 4 linebackers to fast flow and make plays. Joey Porter led the NFL with 17.5 sacks a year ago. He plays the open side, or the weak side of that 3-4 defense. He must get quick pressure on Peyton Manning. You go to Jason Taylor, who had a cup of coffee in Washington last year. He's going to play the strong side in that 3-4 defense. He's got to be disruptive as well. The linebackers in the 3-4 defense must get quick pressure on Peyton Manning, because if he develops a rhythm, it'll be a long night for the Dolphins defense.
Yeah, there's another good pass rusher in this game tonight by the name of Dwight Freeney. When we come back, we're going to talk about the other side of the ball. When the #1 overall pick of last year's draft, Jake Long, is on the field and going head-to-head with one of the most feared sackmen in the National Football League, Dwight Freeney of the Colts. Dwight Freeney, 8 years in the league. When he is on the field, he deserves a bunch of attention. All-time franchise leader in sacks for the Colts. All right, you know, when the Indy offense and Manning are on the field, a lot of attention. But it's going to be really interesting when Miami has the ball. And part of it we're going to do now in our time to take a look at the winning edge, brought to you by J.C. Penney. Jaws, on that side of the ball, with the offense belonging to the ball, I should say, belonging to Miami, you've got Dwight Freeney, a guy you must stop on that end.
Yeah, you know, I don't have a fancy name like Sheriff, like John has, but you know what? I got a twister in Dwight Freeney. He is an outstanding pass rusher coming off the edge. He not only has the twist move, look at this right there. Wham! There goes down David Gerard. He eats up young offensive linemen. Jake Long's in for a tough night tonight. Long with a solid rookie season, struggled last week against John Abraham and the bull rush. So when you see a young, inexperienced captain getting beat like that in the first week of the season, you've got to give him help. So I expect the Dolphins to give him help tonight. Use that tight end so he can't line up wide. Use that tight end right next to Jake Long. Bring in a wide receiver in motion. Get a little chip. Chip him with the backs. Use the trap. Use the draw. And use the hard count. Don't let Dwight Freeney get off the ball.
How about what the Colts defense had to prepare for? The Wildcat. 1 year ago today it came out.
Wildcats, the Wildcat! 1 year ago in New England, Ronnie Brown, the Wildcat quarterback, was born. 6 snaps he accepted, 4 of them were touchdowns, and they got busy against New England. Now here we are last week. Pat White, just acquired in the 2nd round out of West Virginia. Here's a spread option quarterback that can run and pass. Now Pat White is part of the equation. 2 years ago in 2006, Vince Young with the spread option went after Dwight Freeney and had great success. Here we are 1 year later. Happy birthday, Wildcat! And Pat White, put your seatbelt on, Jaws. Anything goes tonight.
Happy birthday.
A little Wildcat. Could be a long night for you. Frank Gifford, Hank Williams. We call it Frank and Hank. They get us ready as Hall of Famers are on the field, and we're set for the Dolphins and the Colts on Monday Night Football.
You've been watching ESPN's Monday Night Football Launch, engineered by the GMC Sierra, the official vehicle of Monday Night Football. Celebrating the 40th season of NFL Monday Night Football, ESPN welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Season 40, Chapter 2.
But Miami has the cast to reel in a win. The NFL's best shine under these lights. Indy and Miami, this one has some bite. Ready? Come on and get ready. I mean, really ready. Are you ready for the football? A Monday night party where primetime pigskin officially started. Get those helmets crashing, the crowd is sight. All my rowdy friends are here on Monday night.
We're ready.
Landshark Stadium, that's the name of the place in Miami. It was known as Dolphin Stadium when Peyton won Super Bowl 41 here with the Colts. 24 of those Indianapolis players who enjoyed that Super Sunday here are back tonight. Warm night, typical September in South Florida, as we're set for the Colts and Dolphins wrapping up week 2 of the NFL season. Colts won their opener at home 14-12 over Jacksonville. That's the official debut of Jim Caldwell, who of course took over for Tony Dungy, former head coach at Wake Forest, has been on this staff since 2002. Tony Sperano on the right, the man on the sideline for the 11-win season last year in the turnaround in his 2nd season as the Miami head coach. Indianapolis has won the toss and will receive it here tonight from the Dolphins. That means right away we'll see Peyton Manning in that Colt offense with the big question. Anthony Gonzalez, who was expected to be the number 2 receiver, out because of the knee injury. So some young players will have to step up on this stage tonight.
Yeah, you're looking at a 2nd-year player, Pierre Garçon from Mount Union. Austin Collie, the rookie out of BYU. They're going to have to play a big role for the Colts offensively.
Miami's kickoff man is Dan Carpenter. Did a very good job in this regard last year. 2nd year out of Montana. Big guy, strong leg. And bringing the kick back will be Chad Simpson, who returned 3 last week against Jacksonville. Interesting to watch Indianapolis' special teams looking for a little bit more production there. This hasn't always been known as the loudest atmosphere, but the new ownership has really put some energy into the franchise. And it's a little bit louder here tonight than I remember it. Off we go with no return for Simpson, and Peyton Manning continues that great streak of consecutive starts. He shows up to work all the time. 178 starts in a row, and from a record perspective tonight, an opportunity to go past Johnny Unitas with the Colts record for wins by a quarterback. And remember, Unitas has one more victory from his year in San Diego, so he would move up even with him on the all-time National Football League list. Opening drive starts from the 20. And Manning down the middle for Clark. And Dallas Clark into the clear. Opening play, touchdown, Colts, 80 yards. Well, that pulls the plug on the party.
I tried to tell you, I call that guy the sheriff, and he doesn't waste much time. They get a classic two-deep zone, and he goes right to the aggressive play-action pass. They fool the inside linebackers, and Dallas Clark has speed to finish.
A year ago, the Colts could not run the football. They didn't run it well last week, yet why would a defense bite on the play-action fake? Aiken Adele, number 51, the linebacker, looking in the backfield, gets caught.
Adam Vinatieri adds the extra point, and it takes a dozen seconds for Manning and the Colts to get on top by 7.
You'll see right here, there's the linebacker that's going to be responsible for Dallas Clark. The play action, you see him take one step up. That's all it takes is one step, and Dallas Clark gets behind the coverage. Both safeties are dividing, so there's a big void in the middle of the field. But Aiken Adele cannot take that step forward. This is what Peyton Manning, the sheriff, is a master at.
Well, Ron, you got to admit, Reggie Wayne was split to the left, and they're going to double Reggie Wayne. Let's help Sean Smith. We get off the hash mark. We create space. Peyton Manning makes a great throw down the middle. But how about Dallas Clark? Not many tight ends can catch a pass and go 80 yards for a touchdown.
Well, he's a hybrid tight end. He's more of a wide receiver than he is a tight end.
Jabril Wilson missed the tackle. And there's Tiger Woods waiting on the sideline for Peyton. Say, way to go, man.
Got everybody here tonight.
They call Peyton the sheriff. We're going to have to come up with a new name for Tiger.
Pat McAfee is doing the kickoffs this week. They released Sean Andrews. And here comes the return for Miami by Patrick Cobbs. He takes it out to the 25-yard line. So this is exactly what the Dolphins did not need, obviously, and the whole Chad Pennington will try to dig Miami out of. About 13 months ago, Chad Pennington was a Jet. And then the whole Brett Favre thing happened, and Pennington ends up here in Miami, and he's brought in on a 2-year deal. Bill Parcells says, you're here for 2 years, you got to take care of the team, take care of business. Last year leads him to 11 wins, and has the job again this year.
He did a lot more than just take care of business. He was dominant at times.
From the 25, they begin with Ronnie Brown on the run. Good open field tackle to shut him down right out of the gate by Tim Jennings, who starts at corner. So, John, what does Miami need to do tonight because of Freeney and all the things we talked about with the Colts defense?
Well, it's very important that they run the football with success, stay out of 2nd and longs and 3rd and longs. They have to throw the ball quickly. They know Freeney and Mathis are a force. Look for a lot of 3-step drops, but it's critical that they get their running game, try to keep the down and distance manageable.
As with any pass rushers, give them a lead and they become more lethal. After no gain, a 2nd down run with Brown. Got a good block from his fullback, Lusaka Polite. Now we'll have a manageable 3rd and 3, like you talked about.
That's a very good job by Dan Henning, the offensive coordinator in Miami. He's done it forever. Watch the tight end. He's going to come in motion repeatedly tonight. Whether he blocks the defensive end or bluffs the defensive end, he's going to get Mathis. He's going to get Freeney's attention. They're going to have to be alert for the down blocks from these motion and tight ends, Ron.
Good job of getting into a manageable 3rd and short situation with the running plays.
Four receivers on 3rd and short. And Pennington throws. It is caught, held onto by Bryant Hartline, the rookie out of Ohio State, in front of Antoine Buffet. 18 yards, first down.
Chad Pennington in the pocket, look to the short route. It's 3rd and 3. The linebackers are going to jump those short routes. As you watch Pennington set up, he looks in the flat first. He gets the corner to jump that, and then he throws against Bethea, the safety to the outside. Well-timed, but good eye discipline on the part of Chad Pennington.
As the Dolphins do often, Pennington off the field. Ronnie Brown will take the direct snap in the Wildcat. And he gives to Ricky Williams coming around for about 3 or 4 yards. I was interested when we spoke to Dan Henning this week about the Wildcat or using the second-round pick, Pat White, to take the quarterback snap. They like to put him in positive plays, things they feel are going to work early on.
Well, early in the game, when they run the Wildcat, they want positive yardage. They don't want negative plays under Coach Sperano. They'll go to the sideline, they'll see the Colts adjustment, and they'll counter off of that initial play.
Same deal, 2nd and 5. Brown stays out in the Wildcat spot. Fake to Williams, and Ronnie runs for the first down to the 36-yard line.
Take a look at it again. Ronnie Brown. Ronnie Brown. Here comes Ricky Williams. You never know if he's getting it or not, but they will run conventional power plays. You see Justin Smiley pulling in the hole. That is a very physical 8-yard gain on a 2-back run that looks creative and looks wild, Ron, because it's from the Wildcat formation.
They just take their base plays and run them without the quarterback. That was the power to the right, very effective.
Now Pennington returns and conventionally hands to Brown, running left. First down, gain of 11. Melvin Bullitt with tackle.
Again, you want to run the delays. You get Dwight Freeney coming upfield. Jake Long does a real nice job of handling him and squeezing him back to the inside. You'll see Long, number 77. It's not Freeney coming up the field. He usually plays in that position. It was Dawson on that particular play. Long took him to the inside, washed him down. Ronnie Brown got to the outside.
Deontay Dawson in there for a snap. Brown has 4 carries for 28 yards. And we got our first flag of the night. Terry McCauley is our referee.
Offense number 77. 5-yard penalty. First down.
You know, I like what Jake Long said. The offensive line was ticked off. They were upset with the way they played last week against the Falcons. Pennington, the entire offensive football team wanted to come out and make a physical statement in this game early. So far, they've done that.
The Dolphins have invested over $150 million long-term money in this offensive line. They did not play up to that value last week. You're right, John. They were angry this week.
Patrick Cobbs, the 3rd running back, and a good one, too, in motion. And a throwback to it. Got a good block. Nice cut by Cobbs to get it to the 21-yard line. Buffet made the tackle, a gain of 8. So Cobbs comes off the bench. Let me set most of the regulars for you around Chad Pennington for this Miami team. Ronnie Brown and Ricky Williams carry the load. Ted Ginn developing with the speed we know, but now he's got to become a better route runner. Fasano, the tight end, had a couple of fumbles last week. As for that offensive line, Ron just talking about all the money they invested. You know, Long, Jake Grove came over from Oakland this year. Vernon Carey, the right tackle. He's got work to do tonight when he sees Robert Mathis off that end. Second and 8. Pressure picked up the middle. Pennington's got it to Ginn, whose forward progress was right at the line. It'll be close to the first down.
Well, Dwight Freeney loves playing the game on 2nd down and long in passing situations. Freeney's number 1 objective is to speed rush the edge. But here's the counter move. A wicked inside spin move. Dwight Freeney isn't the tallest guy in the league, but he is definitely the fastest defensive end, and that spin move, it's hard to stop.
But
it's fun to watch.
I like the fact that Dolphins had Joey Hanos lined up as a tight spot. That put Freeney wider to the outside. Although he won, he didn't get to Pennington.
Wildcat, Pennington off the field, Brown keeping, and Ronnie Brown to the goal line, and in. Touchdown, Miami.
That's where they like the Wildcat, inside the red zone. So far, the Wildcat is having a birthday party. 3 snaps I've seen, 3 outstanding plays, and Ronnie Brown is running hot right now. Excellent job by the Dolphins of answering a score. Let's go back to that, Ron. Big play to start the game for the Colts. Very impressive play by the Dolphins, finishing the drive.
Let's watch the ball as he goes down, extends the ball right there. That's very close. Let's see if Indy decides to challenge. No challenge flag thrown. The extra point knocked through by Dan Carpenter. 9 plays, 75 yards. I don't know who likes the Wildcat more, Sperano or Gruden.
I want some birthday cake.
I love the Wildcat.
All tied at 7.
Again.
We welcome you back to Miami. Remember what I said? Doesn't it feel louder in here than normal? There's like a different juice and an energy to this place.
It's rocking.
Yeah.
It's rocking.
75-yard drive answers the one-play 80-yard touchdown by Manning to Clark. Chad Simpson, the kick return. Thrown down just shy of the 20-yard line. Lex Hilliard, to back up running back, made the play. Oh, Miami 0-1, needed a good start. Brown and Sperano enjoy the way they got going tonight. Manning with the quick strike, 12 seconds into the game. It ties the quickest touchdown in the 40 seasons of Monday Night Football. Last year, Allen Rossum, San Francisco, opened the game with a kickoff return for a touchdown in Arizona. Joseph Adai takes the first carry of the night, and Adai gets a dozen yards for the first down. TD.
Let's go back to the touchdown. You'll see a balance set by the Colts. Dallas Clark releases to the outside. The play action fake. Aiken Adell, the linebacker, just peeks into the backfield long enough to let Dallas Clark get over the top. Dallas Clark breaks the tackle. Reggie Wayne hustling down the field makes a terrific block. Well designed, well executed by Peyton Manning and the Colts.
Out of their traditional no huddle, Adai tries the middle, gets about 3. Since the Colts no huddle, just show you the names of the starters here on the bottom of the screen. Adai will share time with Donald Brown, the rookie out of Connecticut at running back. Reggie Wayne surrounded by some inexperienced Austin Collie out of BYU, one of the receivers. Saw Clark already with his big pass catch. And you run through that offensive line that is back, and Jeff Saturday still in the middle with Peyton Manning now in his 11th year in the league. 2nd and 7. The pressure's picked up, and Manning's complete to Clark. A first down in front of Jeremiah Bell. Bell's the safety on this Dolphin defense that was very solid throughout last season. Up front, they start with Kendall Langford tonight. Jason Ferguson on the nose. He's been with Parcells going back to the Jets and Dallas days for Bill. Jaws mentioned Jason Taylor playing that new spot, strong side linebacker over the tight end. Watch Aiken Adell had a back injury this week. Missed some practice. And in the secondary, Will Allen's the veteran. But Sean Smith's the rookie who's going to be tested. And Jabril Wilson already missed on a big play tonight. Adai's first down run goes nowhere. There's a guy I just mentioned, Jason Ferguson. Been doing this for 13 years now.
It's going to be a cat and mouse game all night tonight. Peyton Manning in the no-huddle offense is going to be surveying this Dolphin defense, trying to get his team in the best possible play. This guy, number 18, will not waste plays. Watch him. Watch his eyes against this Miami defense.
He's looking for that juicy look, then he's going to attack.
On second down, firing downfield for Garcon. Caught the ball, but was out of bounds. Incomplete. Will Allen had the coverage over there.
That was an impressive play by Pierre Garcon, the rookie. The second-year player, first-year playing. Watch Peyton Manning on the double move. They're going to go after Will Allen with the young receiver. Pumps the corner, resets his feet, puts the ball up, and Garcon made a nice play on it. Just got to leave a little bit more room from the sideline.
Ball kind of took him a little bit out of bounds. I thought Garcon ran a good route on that one, John.
Wow, it's loud, man. A little tougher to communicate in the no huddle. Manning contacted as he throws, incomplete for Reggie Wayne. The pressure that came forced that out earlier than the Sheriff wanted. Joey Porter bringing the heat.
And beautiful coverage in the secondary. Joey Porter must show up tonight. Here he is on the open side of the formation against Charlie Johnson. You see the speed to the outside. Just rushed Peyton a little bit. However, there was excellent coverage on the outside by Sean Smith and Jabril Wilson, double covering on Reggie Wayne.
Rookie out of West Virginia, drafted in the 7th round, Pat McAfee. It's a big booming leg. Pitch to Devon Best.
Out of here.
Yeah, I told you, big booming leg. Just a little too much. Going to rein that thing in.
John.
56 yards. The net was 36. Ronnie Brown got the league buzzing a year ago today with the Wildcat. He's back on the field when you come back to Miami. Mike Tirico, John Gruden, Ron Jaworski, Susie Culver on the sideline here in Miami, all tied at 7, about 2/3 of the way through the first quarter. If you're just tuning in, Manning to Dallas Clark, first play of the game, 80 yards. And the Dolphins respond with a 75-yard drive and a Ronnie Brown touchdown to tie. Pennington very solid on that opening drive. 3 in the backfield, look for Ricky Williams running left. Melvin Bullock and Tim Jennings tackle him after a gain of a half. Does it for Ricky.
Dan Henning, a real nice call. It's that delayed draw, allows Freeney to come up the field. Then you see Ronnie Brown make the block in the linebacker, and Ricky Williams gets to the outside. Those delays will draw those speedy defensive ends of the Colts up the field and create natural seams for the running game. And Ricky's running hard.
You saw that second hit that Jennings gave him. Ricky was looking to come out of the game, but couldn't get Ronnie Brown's attention, so he stays in, but he's certainly feeling that second lick he took. Second and 4, he gets to stick his head back in there again and get rocked up front by Antonio Johnson. Colts are a little bit bigger in the middle, and that's something this team needed to do desperately. I mean, all the headlines in their defense, you understand, with the guys on the end like Freeney and Mathis, but Antonio Johnson and Ed Johnson, who's back after a 1-game suspension. The linebackers, you have Hagler, Brackett, who's been 5 years now with the Colts, and Clint Sessions. And you have Kelvin Hayden starting with Tim Jennings tonight, because rookie Gerard Powers is out with a groin injury. Melvin Bullock, Antoine Bethea. Bullock keeps going for Bob Sanders, former Defensive Player of the Year, still recovering from knee surgery. Colts hope to have him back in the next 2 to 3 weeks. 3rd and 1, power to the left, Williams got the first down. Hard yards. Ricky Williams still has it.
And this is the kind of game that Dan Henning wanted to establish. Success on 1st and 2nd down. Try to maintain 3rd down and shorts. And they are obviously running left at Dwight Freeney, or they're running behind Big Jake Long at left tackle with a lot of success.
So they get first down. They get over the 30. Now Pennington comes out and Ronnie Brown comes in. You know, they do telegraph what they're doing when Pennington comes out, but in the first series there were 3 runs, so 5, 9, and 14. Brown sticks it up in there and keeps the pile going for a gain of about 4.5.
Oh, the Wildcat, the last series, the Dolphins showed it 3 times. Here's Ronnie Brown on a perimeter handoff to Ricky Williams. The next time he fakes it to Ricky, they run the power play off tackle. Then the 3rd play, the Colts try to blitz. You see it coming at the top of the screen, and Ricky Williams, on the fake around, really holds the offside. It's a beautiful play.
And now option C. Dan Henning turns to Pat White, the 2nd-round pick out of West Virginia. He'll come in and play quarterback. And the fans reacting to this multi-skilled lefty. And he reads and hands to Ricky Williams, who goes nowhere there. It's a 2nd-round draft pick. Again, he's the number 2 quarterback. Chad Henne is the 3rd quarterback tonight.
Well, Pat White is the active quarterback tonight. Chad Henne is not active. They brought Pat White in here because of his skill set. This guy ran for over 4,000 yards at West Virginia. He threw for almost 6,000. This guy is definitely a prospect at quarterback. He can also run the spread option.
A lot of times what they just did there was to see how Indy was playing it. You can see the conversation on the sideline. They got a good look at what the Colts were doing. Stand by. There's more from that package. 3rd and 5. Pennington complete for the first down to Ted Ginn at the 45-yard line.
People want to talk about the lack of arm strength in Chad Pennington. He makes up for it with timing. You'll see the ball out of his hand quick because Dwight Freeney's coming up fast. Jake Long does an outstanding job with the punch and taking up the slack and not giving any air for Dwight Freeney. That gave the passing lane available to Chad Pennington. He delivered on time. First down for the Dolphins.
Miami has 7 first downs on 15 plays, and Cobbs runs for about 4 yards. He's in his 4th year out of North Texas. You know, guys, you talk about Jake Long there, Jaws. We visited with him yesterday. Not exactly an easy week. John Abraham did a really good job getting a couple of sacks for Atlanta last week, and that's one of those you got to have thick skin and bounce back.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Jake Long is an outstanding football player. Defensive ends in this league can embarrass you sometimes. He had a difficult time last week, but hey, he was honest with us. He said he's got to get it going. He's worked hard this week, and the offensive line for the Dolphins took it personal. They've come out and they've moved the ball very well so far this season.
Second down, Williams runs, and Ricky's a couple of yards shy of the first down. It's hard to believe that it's a decade since that Ricky Williams-New Orleans trade, you know, where Mike Ditka traded his whole draft and went out into the golf course for the rest of the day. They traded a first-round pick, picks 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 in that draft, and a 1 and a 3 the next year with Washington and New Orleans. Ricky had a couple of decent seasons in New Orleans, but once he got down here to Miami, when he was traded for 2 more number ones, he
might have been worth it. He had back-to-back killer years. Matter of fact, he carried 775 times over a 2-year period.
Workhorse Ben. Pretty entertaining quarter. After one in Miami. Colts 7, Dolphins 7 on Monday Night Football. From the AFC East days until the realignment in 2002, Miami and Indy used to get together twice a year. The Colts had 7 points in 7 plays in that opening quarter, and that's part of the story with Indianapolis. They don't get as many possessions and plays. His defense needs to get off the field on downs like this, 3rd and 2. Ronnie Brown up the middle, first down to the 28-yard line. Chad Pennington's a very smart quarterback. You heard him say, kill, kill. He made an adjustment at the line, and it was the right one.
Well, a lot of times you call 2 plays in the huddle, and if you don't like the initial play, you kill it. And they're going to kill it, and they're going to bring motion here. You'll see it come from the left side of the picture. Just an inside plunge to Ronnie Brown. That's what you get with Chad Pennington. You get a heady quarterback that rarely makes mistakes. That's a great audible, excellent job by the Miami staff.
John, so often we talk about the quarterback reading the coverage in the secondary. Pennington did an outstanding job of reading the front, finding the softness of the front, and attacking the weakness of the defense.
One receiver, it's Greg Camarillo. Pennington down the seam for a tight end. Fasano couldn't bring it in. Covered by Antoine Buffet.
That's what happens when you get the running game going. The Dolphins have been on offense all night. Great time for a play-action pass. The pass has action, and it fools the inside linebackers. Ball's a little bit high. You'd like to see Fasano get up and snatch it, but a great effort.
Yeah, this is that area of the field the Dolphins love to attack. They get around that 30-yard line. They're not looking for 3 or 4 yards. They're looking for the touchdown. Ball just got a little bit away from Chad Pennington. He had Fasano open down the middle.
Second and 10, they'll run to the left with Williams. And Indy's speed got to the side there. Raheem Brock with the tackle. Maybe only a gain of a yard for Ricky. 3rd and long.
One thing for sure, with these long, sustained drives that Miami's putting together right now, they're keeping Peyton Manning exactly where they want him, over there on the cooler with the rest of these Indianapolis Colts offensive players. But this Time of possession is a real factor for the Dolphins in winning this game.
Yeah, Miami's had the ball almost 13 minutes to 3 minutes for the Colts. Huge disparity in the favor of the Dolphins.
And you just saw there, guys, this down, third down, inability to get people off the field. Bottom 3 teams in the league the last 3 years. Pennington, end zone, Ginn couldn't bring it in. It was a hair too long for him. He had 10 breaking open for a touchdown. They'll try a field goal.
And that's what happens a little bit. When you have speed, sometimes you don't have enough field to use it. But you can see these last 2 passes, one to Fasano, one to Ginn. Great players have to step up and make these plays in big games.
45-yard field goal coming to Dan Carpenter, second year out of Montana. First field goal attempt of the year is good. It tells you how reactive the Dolphins are. Very important game here for them tonight. They lead by 3.
Both of those would have been outstanding catches, but I've seen outstanding players make a big difference making plays like that.
You're saying they're not outstanding players?
Oh, those weren't outstanding plays there.
Okay.
Dancing with the Stars. You're a candidate. You can dance around anything. Here's a return from Chad Simpson. Brought down inside the 20-yard line. Another tackle for Lex Hilliard on special teams. Been a while for Peyton Manning on the field. He's only run 7 plays. Get ready to go back on the field when you come back. Back here in Miami, the Dolphins are going to be forced to re-kick. They were offsides on the kickoff, so in a chance for Indy to improve their field position when Peyton Manning gets back on the field and use those offensive weapons. Guys, as we look at the Colts, it's so different to look at them on offense without Marvin Harrison, essentially retired, not coming back to the Colts at the end of last year. He did all of his work on the right side. Over the last 5 years, never catching stuff on the left side, essentially. And the mirror of that is Reggie Wayne, who always lines up on the left side and almost never gets a ball on the right side. Why is that so pronounced like that,
Well,
Charles?
as I've watched this Colts offense through the years, they lined up Marvin Harrison on the right a predominant amount of time, and Reggie Wayne on the left. Peyton Manning likes to develop that supreme timing with his receivers, and they're able to develop that because they're, for the majority of time, in one side of the formation. A lot of teams will flop their receivers weak and strong. Tom Moore likes to do it to one side of the field, and certainly Peyton Manning with Marvin Harrison, Peyton Manning with Reggie Wayne, they have been exquisite.
Another Dan Carpenter kickoff, and another opportunity for Chad Simpson to return. And he'll gain about 9 yards on the exchange as he's tackled at the 28-yard line. Your thoughts on that left-right lineup? Some people wonder, oh, why not move Reggie Wayne over to the right now a little bit more often, variety?
Well, it's because of the no huddle. They like jumping the ball, never huddling. It allows them to play faster. Reggie Wayne stays on his side of the field. Marvin Harrison stays on his side of the field. And Peyton Manning knows what to do with the football. But there was a period, 1999 to 2006, nobody was better than Marvin Harrison.
Harrison hasn't officially retired yet, and there was some talk when Gonzalez got hurt. Well, they call Marvin and ask him to come back in. Well, they did. Wayne this time lines up in the slot on the right. And it's a deep cross to him, and he's got it at the 41-yard line. So he lines up on the right, and he catches on the left.
And normally, you know, as I've watched this Colt offense through the years, even when Marvin Harrison was there, he would run this crossing route. And also Reggie Wayne from the left side would run the deep crossing route. They just do a terrific job of putting their wide receivers in a place to succeed.
After a gain of 16, it's a run with a die right up the middle. We talked about Chad Pennington. Peyton's done it for years. When he sees a look that's a good run, he gets his team to it.
This whole offense is based on audibles and hand signals. And I'm loving this. I'm watching Austin Collie and Pierre Garcin lined up to the right. Manning's audible into a run right here. Joseph Adai, if he gets his legs back underneath himself, watch out.
Jeff Saturday with a key block on Jason Ferguson.
After gains of 16 and 15, incomplete for the rookie Collie. Just to let you know about these guys a little bit, let's start with Austin Collie, the guy you see on the screen there from BYU, a rookie. He's a little bit more experienced. He's 24 years old. He did a 2-year Church of Latter-day Saints mission in Buenos Aires, Argentina. So Collie's on one side, kind of more of a slot guy, and Garcon on the other side, a speed receiver. And a lot of high praise coming out of everyone we spoke to with Indy on how this guy going forward could be an impact player on this team.
He's got bump and run on the outside here. He might take a shot at this one. Now the safeties are splitting up. Looks like they had 2 deep coverage. If Peyton sees something he likes, another juicy look for him.
The guy wrapped up by Kendall Langford. Just a gain of a yard.
You know, these young guys, however, they got to get in a huddle and play with the sheriff. And don't think they're not nervous.
Peyton Manning, that's where he's brilliant. Brilliant. But a play is made by Jason Taylor to knock down that brilliance. See if a marker's down on the sidelines. It is on the far side. It's offside on Miami.
They have too many players on the field.
Yes.
You know, I mean,
that's what I thought.
That's what Manning does. He goes to that attack. They hurry to the line, and they get the play off while the Dolphins have too many men on the field.
The officials are discussing that exact situation. Manning saw Miami changing personnel and did what you said, Joss, attack.
12 men on the field, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
It's gonna...
I think it might have been 14, to be quite honest.
Right. Yeah.
Take a look at the chaos. We're trying to get to a nickel defense. We're trying to get to a substitution. 12 guys on the field. Peyton Manning sees it. He has a code word. He yells it out. Everybody gets set. Snap the ball. It's a free play. Peyton Manning, his generalship, his ability to see the substitutions and pull the trigger on these tough decisions is amazing to me.
You know, we go to practice and watch teams try to do this, make those adjustments on the move, and all of a sudden they get in the game, and they always seem to get caught. Peyton is brilliant at doing that.
Now Miami's wrinkle, and Manning calls timeout. Miami wasn't lining up defensive linemen with their hand on the ground, trying to give Peyton confusion. A terrific high-level chess game on display tonight. Florida. Glad to have you with us in Miami. Out of the Indianapolis timeout as the play clock ran down and the Dolphins gave defensive confusion. 3rd and 3. They only bring 4. Manning throws to Wayne, who caught it, and a huge shot as Channing Crowder was flying over. The worst of that was absorbed by his own player, Nathan Jones, who's in the extra DB situation, and timeout's called immediately. And they're out to check on Jones. Just keep him down there for a second. It was his own man who came across and stuck him.
Well, it's a classic under route by Reggie Wayne. Nobody runs more underneath patterns from a wide split than Reggie Wayne. How about that catch and the awareness as to when to get down? This guy, Reggie Wayne, doesn't get near the credit that he deserves. He's back in Miami, the most prolific Hurricane ever. This guy caught more passes than Michael Irvin, Eddie Brown right here in Miami. He is a dominant wide receiver.
And I like the design of the play. They came a little stacked release so the corner would soften up a little bit and allow Reggie Wayne to come underneath, and Peyton Manning stuck it in.
Nathan Jones walked under the field, off the field, under his own power. First down picked up by the Colts at the Dolphin 30. Three receivers in the pattern for Gian Robinson down the middle, incomplete. Robinson's the second tight end. You see Manning coming off the turf after Kendall Langford pressured him.
Once again, the Colts attacking down the middle. They get that middle open. They're going to take their shots, even with Gian Robinson. Peyton had to get rid of this ball a little quicker, I think, than he would have liked to. As you saw Langford coming in his face, the ball sailed a tad high on him.
Second and 10, a stretch play to the right to a dive. Nowhere to go. It was played well on the corner. I'll bring up third down. Will Allen, 9-year veteran out of Syracuse, made the play.
You know, talking to the Miami Dolphin defenders, they knew they had to stop the Colts stretch play. They're going to run it to the tight end, away from the tight end, but they've got to set the edge and turn it back to the inside. Great play by Miami.
You see how quickly the Dolphins were trying to sub personnel in and out, trying to get the guys they want on the field for third down before Manning could go attack and quick snap them.
They're using what they call the Dolphin look. One down lineman, everyone else standing up. One defensive lineman on the field. A lot of linebackers and corners in the game.
Manning had protection, gets it to Clark, the beautiful open field tackle by Jeremiah Bell, and a 42-yard field goal attempt coming.
If you're going to man up in that situation, you have to tackle well. Jeremiah Bell matched up on Dallas Clark on a short drag underneath. He allows Clark to make the catch, but it's a sure tackle. You'll see the pressure here. Dallas Clark separates. In the open field, Bell makes a terrific tackle. Once again, Peyton under duress.
It'll be a 43-yard attempt for the greatest clutch postseason kicker in the history of the game, Adam Vinatieri. He knocks it through and evens the game at 10. 5 possessions, 4 of them have ended up in scores, so we're all even in 21 minutes. You saw Jennifer Lopez and the paparazzi surrounding her at the very beginning of that video montage from earlier in the game. A lot of the South Beach celebrities now showing up on the orange carpet, not the red carpet, for Dolphin games. No kick return here. It's a touchback taken back at the 20-yard line. They're trying to create kind of an atmosphere like games for the Los Angeles Lakers by adding all of these people into the fold. Stephen Ross made his money in international real estate. Big donation to the University of Michigan Business School. It's named after him, and I told you about Emilio and Gloria Estefan among those who are doing a lot of things. One, celebrities, but also outreach to the Hispanic community, which is so popular in this area, the athletic community like Serena and Venus Williams. And there's a great energy that is being built around one of the terrific brands of the NFL. And forever, the Dolphins, going back to the Shula days and the Super Bowls, the perfect season. It meant so much to this league. Chad Pennington's first down pass. Here's a gain of 5 to Brian Hartline. Second catch of the night. He also bought this stadium as well, and this will be a football-only facility coming up in a few years. Florida Marlins will have their own stadium on the old Orange Bowl site, and that whole infield look that we always see in early September here will be gone. And there's the man who is buying the groceries, the executive VP of football operations, Bill Parcells, who has built this Dolphin team, turned over the roster as they went from 1 win to 11 wins last year. Ronnie Brown is spilled by Tywan Hagler. Now in his 4th year. Parcells was hanging around practice, chewing your ear off cruising Saturday. Or is it the reverse?
It was great to spend a couple hours with Coach Parcells. Everywhere he goes, his teams win, and they win big. And he's come down here and made a couple bold moves, getting Pennington in here, drafting Jake Long, bringing the Wildcat to Miami. And now he's part of this new ownership group. This guy's been on the cutting edge of pro football for a long time. It's great seeing him.
He's football through and through. He remembered a blitz he had on me in 1982 that got a sack from Perry Williams. You talk about a memory.
3rd and 5. Good job by Long to keep Freeney out. And time for Greg Camarillo to make a 10-yard catch and a first down at the 35-yard line.
You know, Chad Pennington, he came here and has really stabilized this offense. His leadership skills are unparalleled. When he left New York, he came here on a 2-year deal. For leadership, stabilized the offense, but he didn't know what was going to happen after 2 years. They've drafted Chad Henne. They've drafted Pat White, both in the 2nd round. But Chad Pennington says, I'm in the moment right now. I'm just worried about what I'm doing right now. I can care about the future. He's playing well tonight.
Hands to Ronnie Brown on first down. He gains a couple yards. And I see Ronnie Brown, and he takes some of those Wildcat snaps and brings Pennington off the field. But Chad Pennington, he's got a great attitude about what it means to be a quarterback, an attitude to handle this.
And Chad Pennington doesn't want any part of fantasy football. He is not interested in stats. He's interested in execution. He's interested in winning. And he's a big reason why Miami is tied right here in a team that has won since he's been in town.
And on cue, Pennington comes to the sideline. And Ronnie Brown will take the Wildcat snap. Keeping it there, set up and blocked nicely and gets the first down. He never played quarterback in high school, so it's not like he has option quarterback skills, but he gains 13 with that kind of high school play-looking play.
Well, take a look at the defensive end over here. He cannot close. He cannot close, or Ronnie Brown will have the option to keep it and come out the back door. Funny listening to Ronnie. He said David Lee walked into the meeting last year and said, who wants to take the direct snap? Ronnie Brown raised his hand. He said, I'll do it. Even though he's got no quarterback experience, look what he's become.
There is David Lee, whose title is the quarterback coach. And he's the person who really got this Wildcat going. Pennington down the middle, incomplete. Good job by Tim Jennings coming over the top of the pass intended for Ted Ginn. David Lee was at Arkansas, and you might remember Arkansas with Darren McFadden, Felix Jones, ran the Wildcat offense to great success. And it's funny, you go back to David Lee and his connections. David Lee was a quarterback at Vanderbilt, 1973-74. Who was the defensive coordinator at Vanderbilt that time? Bill Parcells. So they've known each other for quite some time. Lee comes to the NFL. They struggled the first two games last year. We need a bailout. Here it is, the Wildcat. This time, Dwight Freeney gave Ronnie Brown nowhere to go and a penalty marker down after a loss of a yard.
Offside, defense number 99. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Antonio Johnson flag.
Hey, I've been from Oregon to Appalachian State studying the spread offense in the Wildcat formation. The only guy I can't get to is that guy, David Lee. They won't let me near him. This guy has brought a whole new package to pro football, whether you agree with me or not, Ron. The Colts are having a very hard time dealing with it.
After this play, I'll give you my opinion on what I think, all right, while you're getting all happy over here.
After the first accepted flag on the Colts tonight, Pennington's pass is incomplete. Taiwan Hagler was a step away for a pick six. All right, Jaws, why?
I don't think it'll ever be a staple in the NFL. I think it's a gimmick, it's a gadget, and it has its place in the game. If you really look at the big picture of the Wildcat a year ago for the Miami Dolphins, they ran it 8.4% of the time. It gained 10.5% of the yards. That's 2% more than your normal offense would give. Are you really worried about that 2% more, Coach? Yeah, I think it does give you some problems for the defense. It gives you some plays in the red zone, but gimmicks and gadgets don't work consistently in the NFL.
3rd and 5, Pennington rolling right. Throw back to the left is covered, so they got to make something happen. And they won't, because Freeney's waiting there for a sack. Dwight Freeney, his second sack of the season, and Miami will punt.
And an excellent job by the corner, Tim Jennings. It was that tight end fall down, sneak back across the field, and Jennings didn't buy it.
Take a look at Dwight Freeney. The one thing that really impresses me the most is his ability to stay alive. He never quits. He has unbelievable stamina.
Dan Carpenter's punt fielded on the sideline by T.J. Rushing, who took that bouncing ball and kept it positive yardage. It goes out of bounds to the 13-yard line. Freeney and the Colts stop Pennington and the Dolphins. They keep us tied at 10. So John Gruden, Ron Jaworski, Susie Culver on the sideline, all tied at 10. We played about 25 minutes of the game, and Indianapolis and Peyton Manning have only run 15 plays. Donald Brown, first-round pick out of Connecticut, sneaks under to run to the, I call it, 17-yard line. Just joining us, first play drawn up by Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator, ended up being an 80-yard touchdown. There is Tom, one of the great people of the National Football League, a lot of success over many years. And it looked for a time, guys, this offseason that he and Howard Mudd, the line coach, weren't going to come back because of benefits and other issues with contracts. They retired and looked like they were going to retire, but were brought back by Jim Irsay, the owner. And Peyton Manning's the happiest guy about that. Manning takes off and gains just a couple of yards. What familiarity Manning's had with those guys over the entire career Peyton's been here.
Well, you go back and look at these two guys. They're not only unbelievable, legendary assistant coaches, they're great men. They teach these Colt players how to be great pros, how to work and continue to improve. And those are two of the best of all time right there.
I agree with you, John. They're probably going to be angry with us because they are not self-promoters. They're grinders. They work all day. They work all night. They love the game of football.
Third and 3, Manning down the middle off the hands of Nate Jones. And 3 and out quickly for the Colts.
Well, that's their young receiver, Austin Collie, in the slot. And Peyton Manning called his number. You'll see Collie coming right down the slot. And it's good coverage by the Miami Dolphins. Nathan Jones, the youngster out of Rutgers. Good job whipping his head around and finding the football.
Undercut the throw nice because he had help over the top. He could tailgate that. And ball busted him right in the hands. Almost had the interceptions. Excellent coverage by the Dolphins secondary.
Ricky McAfee with the punt. Very high. It'll be 41 yards. A good field position for the Dolphins and their own 40. And Chad Pennington, Randy Moss's quarterback at Marshall, back on the field when you come back. Here on ESPN, the way to start your football weekend. Chad Pennington and the Dolphins take over at the 40, and here's Ricky Williams. Gain of about 7 yards for Ricky. Kelvin Hayden made the tackle.
You know, one thing about these Indianapolis Colts, I call them the killer bees. They've got some bees out there that not a lot of people know about. Guys like Gary Brackett, Melvin Bullitt. You see Raheem Brock, Antoine Bethea. These guys are excellent football players. They come from obscurity. Some of them aren't even drafted. Credit to Bill Polian.
Brock's out there right now as Freeney and Mathis, the two starting ends, get a breather. And it's Brock on cue, getting Ricky Williams for the gain of only a yard.
That's one of the ways Miami has got to slow the pass rush down, the use of a draw play. But you see Raheem Brock, I believe he's over here on the right side of the screen, does a nice job on an inside stunt. That's John Tierlink and this defensive line. They know they're vulnerable to the draw play. That's an excellent job.
Yeah, John Tierlink, the defensive line coach, they do a lot of slants and stunts and twists, and they will blow some plays up. There's Big John. Get after the quarterback. Play the run on the way of the quarterback.
2-minute warning. Chris Berman, Tom Jackson coming up with the Toyota halftime show. Fastest 3 minutes. Not as fast as Mr. Gore for the Niners yesterday. How good was Eli Manning last night for the Giants under pressure? And the pressure the Jets got on Tom Brady. The guys will discuss week 2 in the NFL on the Toyota halftime show in a bit. Dolphins full complement of timeouts. All replays handled up in the booth now in the last 2 minutes. 3rd and 2, a fullback run will get the first down with Lusaka Polite. Was undrafted, made the Dallas team when Parcells was down there. Came here as Tony Sperano was also there in Dallas at the same time.
Big first down for the Dolphins, Mike. They can now keep this ball for the rest of the first half and not give it back to Peyton Manning.
4 receivers, they'll run Ricky Williams to the 41-yard line. And Miami's run for well over 100 yards here in this first half. 125 they've run for.
And Chad Pennington being very careful here in the 2-minute drill right before the half with a draw play to start this drill.
41, pass complete to Devon Bess, who gets out of bounds for the first down in front of Kelvin Hayden.
Devon Bess has short area quickness. He can separate, get away from people, has a good feel, good feet. Chad Pennington knows how to work the ball to him. And that's what you want right there. Peyton Manning on the sideline with a hat on.
Plenty of time, 1:08. Dolphins have all 3 timeouts left. Again, this is where the Indianapolis Colts are at their best rushing the passer in a 2-minute drill.
Play action, Pennington. Flushed out of the pocket. A good job to keep the play alive. It's only going to be a gain of a yard, but out of bounds. Tim Jennings wanted the clock to keep running, but he kept his man in bounds. He did not.
That's one of the things Chad Pennington talked about last night. I'm going to have to move in the pocket. I'm going to have to throw from awkward deliveries because of the rush. But Pennington does a great job of avoiding negative plays, sacks, interceptions. That's a classic example right there.
Eric Foster was clean up the middle, showed that pocket mobility, so important at this level.
Second and 9, inside run for Ronnie Brown. That's a second consecutive good play for Eric Foster out of Rutgers, whose home is down here. He's from Homestead, Florida, and a timeout is taken. We'll be right back. Dolphins face third down. Back here in Miami, the Dolphins facing third down and 7, and they were a little tardy getting the play out there. Now they reset the play clock, so they'll be okay.
What was tough about the Colts is they only gave up 6 touchdown passes as a defense last year. 6? That hasn't happened ever in a 16-game season.
Wow. That's a wow.
Third and 7. They're going to try to stay in field goal range down here as Williams gets close to the first down. It'll be 4th and a yard. 48 seconds left. Let's see who will stop the clock with a timeout. I think the Colts are going to use one here. Yes, timeout Indianapolis. 4th and 1 coming up.
Yeah, one of the key matchups tonight was Jake Long against Dwight Freeney. Long had a tough week last week against John Abraham. So far tonight, he has been outstanding. Freeney has not gotten to the quarterback yet. Of course, he's getting a little help from his friends as Justin Smiley gets a little chip on him. There's Dwight hustling, getting the play. But watch Jake Long use his hands, getting a good punch, taking up the air between him and Dwight Freeney. You cannot allow Dwight Freeney to get his motor running. You got to give a punch. You got to grab him. You got to hold him, or he will really disorient your offensive team.
Fans got a little fired up there for a second as it was 4th and 1. The offense was out there without Chad Pennington, and they were hoping that Tony Sperano was going to go for it on 4th down. But he does the prudent thing here and brings out the field goal kicker, Dan Carpenter, to try to take the lead.
Hard to kick off of this dirt.
Good from 45, this one from 44. (13-10) Miami. Manning has 1 timeout, 43 seconds to work with. Be right back. Dolphins over the Colts. See what Peyton Manning and the Colts can do. They have a couple of timeouts remaining. I believe it said 1. And we'll see what Peyton Manning and Tom Moore decide to do. Double check who the last timeout was called. On the board here it has Indy with 2, Miami with 1. We'll confirm that. Carpenter's kickoff's returnable. It's short, only to the 10-yard line. Chad Simpson stopped for 25 by Reggie Torbor. We've got some help coming along. Next Monday night, we go to Dallas. Steve Smith and D'Angelo Williams have to get to work. The Panthers 0-2 already. Tony Romo had a tough game with 3 picks last night. DeMarcus Ware will set his sights on Jake Delhomme. It is the Panthers and the Cowboys at 8:30 Eastern on Monday Night Football. Terrific, entertaining game last night in Dallas. As the Cowboys opened up their new, beautiful stadium, but did not get the win.
Eli Manning was razor sharp when he had to be.
That is correct. Colts have 1 timeout. The board here in the stadium is showing the wrong number of timeouts. It's showing Indy with 2. They only have 1. We were right the first time. Number 27, Manning. Got to get rid of it. Able to find the rookie Brown out of the backfield and right near midfield for the first down. Gain of 24.
Peyton Manning bought a little bit of time in the pocket. He had Donald Brown on a little wheel route up the sideline.
Well, it's unbelievable, really. Brown tries to fight back to the inside, gets cut off and flew it. And what a great adjustment by a rookie running back.
From midfield, Manning again through the hands of Dallas Clark and incomplete. 2nd and 10, 23 seconds and a timeout left.
That's one of the things that Bill Polian did drafting Donald Brown. He got the nation's leading rusher in Donald Brown, and he got a guy that can pick up blitzes and can run the football. And when the Colts won their last Super Bowl in 2006, Dominic Rhodes had over 600 yards, and they missed that complimentary style he had. Donald Brown brings that and more.
2nd and 10 with a marker down. Manning to Clark. Trying to get to the sideline to save that timeout. Gained a dozen. Now let's check the flag.
Illegal formation. Offense. 6 men on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Outside of the first offensive play for the Colts, they've been very sloppy offensively.
Looks like Miami is playing 2 deep safeties and man-to-man underneath. And look for Dallas Clark in this situation. Manning just missed him 2 plays ago.
There's 15 seconds remain. Manning throwing for Wayne off his hands, held on to and picked off by Jabril Wilson. The rookie Sean Smith had the coverage. The safety Wilson comes over to get it. Wayne wants to check the replay, which in the last 2 minutes happens upstairs for review.
Well, it's a blitz situation. And Peyton Manning's going up top to Reggie Wayne. It's the matchup we talked about. Sean Smith, the rookie out of Utah, whips his head around. Ball's tipped, and you work on that in practice. That's a catch.
Ooh. No, it isn't.
Oh, no, it isn't.
Nope.
The ball came out of there. Don't speak too
Be
soon.
careful there, John.
It's a rookie
came out.
Previous play will be reviewed.
What a great effort, though, by Sean Smith. That's the matchup we talked about in the pregame warm-up, Jaws. A 6'3" corner. They're very high on him.
He's a physical specimen. When we were out at practice on Saturday, 6'3", what an athlete.
Under review. Came down to the ground, didn't keep possession. Be right back. If Indianapolis gets the ball back, it would be 2nd and 15 or 3rd and 15 at the Indianapolis 45. It would end up being an incomplete pass. Let's take another look at it as we listen to the call from Terry McCauley.
After review, the defender lost control of the football prior to completing the interception. It is an incomplete pass. It will be 3rd down and 15 on the 45-yard line.
Now, the time doesn't change, so there's 8 seconds remaining. And now you have to be thinking, okay, one of 2 options. You go deep and try to hit the Hail Mary at the end of the half, or do you try to get a 25-yard chunk to get to Adam Vinatieri's field goal range? You do have 1 timeout to stop the clock.
Yeah, now if you're a receiver, you got to be aware. Give yourself up if you catch the ball down the field. Immediately get the timeout.
50 is really the back end of Vinatieri's range at this point in his great career. Well, that doesn't help. If you're a Dolphin, if that is offside, you'll add 5 yards.
Defense number 78. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Well, the Dolphins showed a 3-man rush and a prevent defense. They clearly are going to force this football underneath.
Manning throws to Clark, and they're in field goal range with 2 seconds left.
How about that? Just on cue, they're going to put it underneath, and Peyton Manning gets a great clear-out route by Reggie Wayne. He removed the cornerback, Sean Smith, and great touch and accuracy by Manning.
But come on, John. You got to play the boundary there. You have to play the boundary defensively. You do not allow a corner route to get out of bounds. That's a mistake on defense.
48-yard field goal for Vinatieri to end the half. Off the post and goes in. How about that to end the half? Adam Vinatieri goes over 1,500 points for his career with a bank shot to end the half. Boy, that's the brilliance of Manning. Two guys who will be in Canton in the Hall of Fame, you'd think. Vinatieri with all of his clutch kicks and great kicks. And Manning, of course, that gets him in position. And the bank shot to end the half. 13-all at the break. Wow. Time now for the Toyota Halftime Show. And here's Chris Berman.
Hi, Michael. Thank you. Welcome indeed to the Toyota Halftime Show. Peyton Manning throwing early, throwing late, a little doink, and glad.
Atlanta. So they're trying to avoid going 0-2 to start the season. Patrick Hobbs has this short kickoff from the 5, and he stumbled. And finally thrown down to the 24-yard line, John.
Well, happy birthday, Wildcat. Let's take a look at Ronnie Brown with the fake around to Ricky Williams. Justin Smiley pulling. If you blitz the Wildcat, you better know what you're doing. Miami Dolphins right here. Take a look at Ronnie Brown reading the defensive end. Defensive end closes. Ronnie Brown keeps it. Ronnie Brown, 11 carries, 82 yards. Wildcat was a big part of it.
And part of that rushing total we talked about, most since September of 2003. In 96 games, they've had a first half running the ball like that, so they go back to Brown on the ground for 3, and here's Susie Caldwell.
Yeah, well, happy birthday, Wildcat is right. Jim Caldwell said it truly is so deceptive, and it kept them off balance. They even had trouble tackling. And then when I asked Tony Sperano what it's like for him to watch from the sideline, see it have so much success, he said, it's exciting for me, and we get our best people on the field. It fires everybody up, gets everyone going, everyone feeds off of it. Then as we were coming out of the tunnel, he turned around and started yelling at his players.
Thanks, Susan. I'm glad you said that part about getting your best players on the field. Brown to the left side. Going to be stopped at the 30, because that's really where this Wildcat kind of got started, because they looked at their personnel. Look, there aren't dynamic wide receivers on this Dolphin team, with all due respect to them. Chad Pennington is not the guy who throws it dynamically. Their best people are Ronnie Brown and Ricky Williams, and they were trying to scratch their heads on a long flight back from the West Coast. How do we get our best guys on the field? Wildcat was part of it, and it's worked out well.
That's a credit to him. Creativity is a big part of Dan Henning. That's what you get.
3rd and 5. You see, Miami's been in more manageable third down situations than Indianapolis. And they managed to convert another one with a 10-yard first down game for Tedkin in front of Antoine Buffet and Tim Jennings.
Once again, Chad Pennington knows the situation. He goes that 5-step drop. The back foot hits the ground. The ball is out of his hand in 2.1 seconds. Watch the timing of Ted Ginn. Comes out that break. There's the ball on his body real quick. If you run that route with that exquisite timing execution, can't be stopped, just like they did there.
Miami showed this formation in the first half. 3 in the backfield. And Greg Camarillo gets the quick hit, but he had to go up high to catch it. So it made him an easy target for Kelvin Hayden.
Yeah, if you're going to throw one of those now routes where the quarterback just stands up and throws it quick, you better get it low, because that corner is driving the route.
You know, Dan Henning does a great job with formations. Here comes a massive substitution. Looks like another Wildcat, but I've seen 3 running backs. I've seen Wildcats, no backs, 2 backs. Dan Henning has it going on tonight.
And Brown back to take the direct snap. And starts Ricky Williams in motion. It's the second time in a row he's come back to him. With a marker down, Williams into the secondary. 15 yards if it stands. Hayden the tackle. Movement up front on the line.
Offside, defense number 68. Penalties decline.
You know, you change quarterbacks, you change snap counts.
Wait a minute. I was just, are you giving Ronnie Brown credit for changing the snap count? Come on.
Ronnie Brown He has a southern accent.
Oh, there you go.
Little twang.
Yeah. So Eric Foster got caught with that, right?
Sides, but once again, it's a 12-yard physical run by Ricky Williams out of the Wildcat.
And right back to it here on 1st and 10. Threw out of it a few times last year. Hard fighting for a couple of yards. We talked about those stats in the first half and padding those rushing totals thus far in the second half. Indianapolis only 22 plays that they were able to run in the first half. That speaks to what John was talking about. Bottom left there, 9.5 minutes with the ball in Peyton Manning's hands.
And the clock is ticking right now, 11:40 left in the third quarter. They are controlling this game with their running offense.
And it's hot and it's humid. You wonder how the stamina of the Colts will stand up.
Pennington back in for 2nd and 8. And a throw again is a yard shy of the first down. You know, I hear quarterbacks, guys, talk all the time about rhythm of the game. That's some of the issue with Philadelphia. How does Chad Pennington not get out of rhythm in these situations?
Because at practice, they work on this. So their 12-play series they run in practice. Chad will only run 9 of them. They'll have 3 variations of the Wildcat of the spread option. But you see, when Chad does plant that back foot, the ball comes out on time and the receiver's open. You see a passing game that works very well. I've been impressed with the route running of Ted Ginn. We all know about his speed, but Chad told us he's really been improving his route running. It's been evident tonight.
Polite, the fullback, takes a carry on short yardage and gains a first down to the 33-yard line.
And that's the 8th third down conversion tonight. But look at the surge right here on the right side between the right guard and right tackle. Vernon Carey came down hard. You get that kind of movement in a 3rd and 1 situation, a lot of guys are going to get the first down.
Now for the second time tonight, 2nd-round draft pick Pat White comes in at quarterback. First time was just a run, but often that was just to see how the Colts are going to play it when Pat White comes in the game. See what they do this time. Rookie out of West Virginia just hands it to Williams, and that play was read well by Clint Session, the linebacker.
Well, that's the spread option, and Pat White was brought in to do it. Take a look at Dwight Freeney. That's the guy that Pat White is going to read. He's going to put the ball in Ricky Williams' chest and read the defensive end. Wasn't Freeney that time, but the end didn't close. Pat White gave the ball up to the inside. He's got to block a little bit better than that.
Keontae Dawson again as they continue to rotate those defensive ends. But do your job, assignment football. College football term that's more in the pros every week now, right? Pennington back in for 2nd and 11. Covered downfield. Check down to Williams. Ricky lost the ball after he hit the ground. And was hit by Gary Brackett.
But you know, that's what Larry Coyer, the defensive coordinator of the Indianapolis Colts, told us last night. He says, you know, defending the option is foreign to our players. They're not used to defending the option.
You know, what we're seeing right now is excellent pass protection. It looks right now, the Colts pass rush is tired. They're not getting off the line. They're not getting pressure on Chad Pennington, and he has time to survey the field. Nothing there. Check it to Ricky Williams.
Larry Coyer, who replaced Ron Meeks as the defensive coordinator for the Colts this year, wanted to attack more in these situations. They rushed 4 on this 3rd and 8, and it was deflected by Foster. Eric Foster's been very active, dropped back from the line, caused the deflection, and a long field goal attempt coming.
Eric Foster has been very active. You'll see the play-action pass right here. Here's Foster getting pressure right up the middle on Donald Thomas. If you're not going to get to the quarterback, look at him, read his eyes, and try to jump in the way of the ball. And that's exactly what he was able to do. Terrific job by Eric Foster. Heck, he also plays fullback offensively. Versatile guy.
This is one thing I never liked doing, was kicking a lot of long-range field goals, because if you miss it, you give the ball to Manning right here at the 40.
49-yard attempt for Dan Carpenter. Wide right, no good. And Peyton Manning will take over at the 40. Jim Caldwell's team holds the Dolphins.
3 wides to the right side, 1 to the left.
And Peyton Manning and the Colts won their Super Bowl 41 victory over the Bears right here. taking over after the missed field goal at their own 40. Joey Porter on cue comes in and takes Manning down for a loss of 8.
Well, Joey Porter had a clean shot to Peyton Manning. He was untouched. You'll see him come from a wide 9, way outside. 9 is that technique, way outside the tight end. You'll see him just come clean.
Confusion on the right
Confusion on the
side.
pass protection. Joseph Adai didn't even get close to him.
Officially loss of 8. Manning swings it to Adai. Got a terrific block from Garcon on Aiken Adell and knocked out of bounds by Will Allen. Well, Peyton Manning looking tonight for his 119th win that would tie him with Johnny Unitas 5th on the all-time win list for quarterbacks. Favre now 171. But would give him the Colts franchise record of wins because Unitas had won during that final season he played with San Diego. But his perspective on this unbelievable success in the 11-plus seasons for Peyton Manning. Third and 11, Miami brings 5, hits Manning as he throws, incomplete, and a Joey Porter pressure series forces a 3-and-out.
Sean Smith, the rookie corner, doing an excellent job in coverage, forcing Peyton Manning to get rid of the football because he doesn't have the play down the field. Porter with good pressure, being blocked by Charlie Johnson. Peyton had to get rid of the ball quickly. Watch Sean Smith, number 24. Jumps that stutter go. Now look at this. He can jump because he has help over the top from Jabril Wilson.
Second-round pick out of Utah. Look out, straight up the middle. McAfee, the rookie, did a good job to get rid of that. Wow, Devon Bess at the 12. Trying to turn the corner, and he's escorted to the sideline at the 20-yard line. Security guard couldn't get out of the way, and neither could Peyton Manning from Joey Porter, who got to him a couple of times in that series and forced the game's second 3-and-out. All right, thank you, Trey. Trey's NFL Primetime later on tonight after SportsCenter. Put the bow on week 2 of the National Football League season. Round to the left. Only to get a couple of yards. He closed in on 100.
One of the things that Dan Henning does a great job of is uses a tight end in short motion to block these premier pass rushers like Dwight Freeney. Here you see him coming down and kicking them out. Here's the left tackle, Jake Long, on a draw set. Dan Henning's doing a great job using tight end motion, here in this case coming down and whacking Mathis on a perimeter play. But Dan Henning is doing a lot to keep these defensive ends out of their rhythm.
Chad Pennington only sacked once tonight by Freeney. 3rd and 3. Pennington gets rid of it to Bess, who hangs on and gets the first down. Quint Session hit him, but Devon Bess, good job hanging on for the first down.
Poise in the pocket from Chad Pennington. The pocket was collapsing around him. The eyes were downfield looking for a receiver. Here comes the pressure from Foster up the middle. Mathis on the outside. Chad slides to his left. But I love the focus downfield. The head never moves from the focus in the secondary. Where's the receiver? Who's coming open? He finds Devon Bess for the first down. Poise in the pocket from Pennington.
Wildcat formation. Brown ready for the direct snap. The middle for the first down in a gain of 14.
When you watch this Wildcat formation, I'm convinced the Indianapolis Colts are going to have to do something with their safety to get him involved in the run support, because they are just running the power play, double teams at the point of attack. They're pulling Justin Smiley. They've got to get their free safety cheated up to become a factor in this running game.
Why wouldn't they cheat it up? Ronnie Brown's not going to throw it down the field. Get him up in the box.
He's back 14 yards again. This time Patrick Cobbs takes it to the left and takes it into the secondary for 19 yards. They've run 9 Wildcat plays for 96 yards tonight.
Trickery, gimmicks, gadgets, misdirection. That's what this offense is about. You see Ronnie Brown going right, hands it off back to the left. Just outstanding job getting down the field. Linemen down the field. You'll see it here. Boy, you just see this offense starting to click as Patrick Cobbs comes around the outside. Right now, the Colts defense looks gassed. They're tired. Their hands are on their knees. They're rattled right now.
Here's a Ricky Williams run. For a gain of a couple of yards. So, guys, just back me up a second. You're talking about the safety coming down more. Basically, if I passed my week at Chucky and Jaws football school, what the Wildcat does, you don't have to worry about the quarterback, right?
No.
So it's like the single wing, so you have an extra person in the run game. And that safety not coming down means you don't have another guy to help defend, so you need that extra help. Is that the whole deal?
When you're in a Wildcat, you have an extra blocker when you direct snap the ball to the tailback. You have an extra blocker. You have to involve that single safety in the run fit, or you're potentially short. And that's what's happening.
Gets it off in time. A traditional play with Ricky Williams for a gain of 3. So here's what Miami's done tonight. We put them in 3 categories. Category 1's traditional, just like a normal quarterback back there. 43 times for 181 yards. Here's the Wildcat, 9 times for 96 yards, and the touchdown scored earlier. And then Pat White has taken 2 snaps, and nothing's happened with him.
Well, how do you guys not love this? I mean, I told you it was going to revolutionize the game. That's over 10 yards a carry on direct snaps to that guy. The Wildcat is running through Miami.
I can't argue with it enough. You got it rocking, my friend.
3rd and 6.
I'm not sure about revolutionizing, but you got it going tonight.
First down line at the 25. Pennington got it. First down, Ted Ginn at the 24.
You know, this drive seems to be lasting all night. We're under almost 2 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, and Peyton Manning has been on the sidelines every play but 3. Credit this Wildcat offense, this deceptive attack that Dan Henning, David Lee have put together tonight.
And that Wildcat forcing that defense to run sideline to sideline, no pressure on Chad Pennington.
Wildcat snap 10. To Ricky Williams. Another big chunk, about 8 yards, and Jim Caldwell's team knew this was coming, but maybe they should have expected more.
Well, they're going to have a lot of walkthroughs and extended practices next week, because when you get exposed like this, teams are going to take a good look at it. But he's a guy that said we felt pretty good about our plan. We only expect 5 or 6 snaps, but Miami is going 10. Now they're on their 11th, 12th Wildcat play tonight.
Look at it. The Colts have only had the ball 11 minutes, and we're almost at the end of the 3rd quarter, in part because Miami has 200-plus rush yards. Brown left. First down to the 12-yard line. Blake Session with the tackle.
Right now, the Dolphins can run any style of offense. They are just pummeling the Colts defense, and Reggie Wayne can do nothing about it. Straight lead play with Polite up inside. Look at the seam for Ronnie Brown. They're having it their way right now. That offensive line of the Dolphins has been dominant. They were angry coming into this game, and they're playing angry.
Chad Pennington is checked out again.
Yep.
Back to the Wildcat.
This is the 11th Wildcat snap. This is as many as they ran in any single game last year. 11. Brown will keep it and get down to the 6-yard line. There's a marker down as we had offside by the Colts on the defensive front. And Sperano asked if he's going to take it. Sure he will.
Offside, defense number 99. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Antonio Johnson, the defensive tackle.
Well, this is uncharacteristic of the Indianapolis Colts under John Tierlink. The defensive line, very disciplined group. That's the 3rd time tonight they've jumped off sides, and I think every one of them has been Ronnie Brown at quarterback. He must have some real 20.
Hard count. The
The Colts ran 3 plays in the quarter, and they're on the ropes. And off we go to the fourth quarter in Miami.
11 for Indianapolis. That's domination.
The break of the quarter could not have come at a better time for the Colts defense that needed that timeout. Pennington running inside just for a couple of yards on that 1st and 5 carry with the fullback Lusaka Polite. How about the other running backs? Ronnie Brown, Ricky Williams tonight, 34 carries for 184 yards.
Well, the guy on the left, Ronnie Brown, is a Pro Bowler. The guy on the right, Ricky Williams, he's one of the few guys in the history of this league to have back-to-back 200-yard gains. What a 1-2 punch they have.
He did that in that great 2002 season. He's the back in there now on play 12 of this drive that's taken half a quarter.
The Dolphins like the play-action pass down in this area.
Run it straight with Ricky. A yard shy of the first down. Big Ed Johnson in there for the tackle. Ed Johnson returning to this team tonight. He had to serve a 1-game suspension. He was arrested on a drug possession charge last year, cut immediately, but re-signed this year. The guy was a starter in 07, and they need his size and playing ability there with Antonio Johnson in the middle of the defense.
What a critical call right here. 3rd and goal from the 3.5-yard line. Remember, last year the Colts gave up 6 touchdown passes all season. 3rd and 1, I'm sorry.
Still sneak that first down to 2. And then one Ronnie Brown up the middle and into the end zone. Touchdown, Miami.
Reverse pivot. They give it to Ronnie Brown with Ricky Williams coming across the backfield. Look at the finish. Always used to say, if you score with your man as an offensive lineman, we're going to score a touchdown. What a great drive by Miami.
It's now Landshark Stadium, and they're playing Jimmy Buffett's song, Fins to the left, Fins to the right. You got Fins steamrolling the Colts right now, up 7. Toronto, an offensive line coach at heart, kind of encouraging his offensive line to continue this ridiculous number. 61 to 25 plays. I don't ever remember being in the fourth quarter and seeing a team that had the ball for 11 minutes for the whole game. Chad Simpson out to the 20. Well, they're only down 7, and they do have one of the best in the business. One of the best ever. Peyton Manning trying to get the Colts out of a 7-point hole. Indianapolis has only run 3 plays in this half. 3 offensive plays in the third quarter, the fewest for the Colts since 2000 in 550 quarters. Astonishing inability to get on the field and stay on. So they'll run with Donald Brown for about 3 yards, and Peyton Manning's got to get his hand on the ball here.
Well, that's been the complaint with this style of defense over the last 7 years. The Colts are 31st in the league over the last 7 years on 3rd down. They've given up 11 out of 15 tonight. They're 25th in defense against the run over the last 7 years. They've given up way too many yards. The problem is this guy, number 18, never gets to play.
MVP of the league, Manning. Throws a strike to Dallas Clark into Dolphin territory and down the sideline to the 26-yard line. All you got to do is give him a snap or 2.
Well, you get Dallas Clark matched up against the linebacker, Channing Crowder, and he's going to win those matchups. You see Dallas Clark get a clean release off the line. Crowder holding him down the line, but a perfect throw from Peyton Manning. Once again, Clark breaks the tackle, takes the ball down to the 27-yard line. Manning looking for his go-to guy right now, Dallas Clark.
That 162 augmented by a gain of 49. career high, Dallas Clark. The rookie, Donald Brown, runs it for about 4 to the 24-yard line.
You count possessions. There's stats for everything, guys. When you count the possessions that the Colt offense gets, they're below the line. They don't get the ball enough in this guy's hands. This guy is one of the best ever.
Second and 6. Back to Clark. What a good spin move away from Jeremiah Bell to get 3 more yards and a manageable 3rd and short for the Colts.
You know, with a young wide receiver like Pierre Garçon and Austin Collie, Peyton Manning's going to go to the receivers he trusts, Reggie Wayne and Dallas Clark.
See all the signals. Manning saw something with that initial hard count. And check to this. A first down reception for Austin Collie out of bounds at the 15.
It's the same play they ran earlier in this situation. He missed Austin Collie. This time Peyton got the ball quickly out of his hand. Watch Peyton at the line of scrimmage. He's a master right here. Checking the defense. Pointing things out to his offensive line. Getting the wide receivers in sync, touching his foot, giving the route to Austin Collie and Reggie Wayne was left, completed it for the first down.
Taylor's been quiet for Miami. Brown up the middle. And the rookie from Connecticut scores a touchdown.
Peyton Manning answers a score with a great drive of his own. But there is a staple in the Indianapolis Colts one-back rushing attack. It's a trap play. Watch the right guard come across the formation and trap the defensive tackle. Right there, Philip Merling. What execution by Howard Mudd and the Indianapolis Colts. That is a beautiful thing, a short trap.
Terrific run by the rookie Brown. What a great time and run for his first career touchdown.
And give some love to Mike Pollock, who made that block the right guard.
Adam Vinatieri adds the extra point. And a very quick response. 15 yards of power from Brown. It was a quick strike. 6 plays, 79 yards. Manning leads them. Game tied at 20. Tied at 20. I don't know if it was a long off season. The football's been great right out of the gate, college and pro this year. What a great couple of weeks it's been, huh?
Yeah, it's normally sloppy in the first few weeks.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Returned by Cobbs, spilled at the 22. Miami gets it back. It's not Ronnie Brown, but Donald Brown, who had a big impact on this game tonight as well.
Garth, you're up.
Hold on, I'm at Capital One.
John Gruden, Ron Jaworski, Susie Colbert on the sideline. Tied at 20, 10 minutes left. Dolphins 0-1, Colts 1-0. Great wrap-up to week 2 of the season. Chad Pennington and the Dolphins have controlled the time of possession. That slithers through the hands of Ted Ginn, who's caught most everything thrown his way tonight. Incomplete.
I'd like to see him catch that ball. Here's a 3-back formation. Little play-action pass to Ricky Williams. With all the success they've had running the football, the ball's got to be caught.
Got to be caught. Ted Ginn has to come up with that catch. Got the ball down to the numbers. You got it. Your numbers down to the ball. You got to squeeze it when you get down there.
Watch a little short motion coming from the top.
It comes from the tight end, Anthony Fasano. Ricky Williams trying to block in the Indianapolis defense, trying to get a block. Led by Antoine Bethea, that Colt defense forces Miami into a place they don't do well normally. 3rd and long.
Well, you run the football well, like the Dolphins have done tonight. You control the clock, yardage, everything, but you don't normally score a lot of points. So this game is tied here at 20-20.
This might be blitz time for Indianapolis. They need to create a 3 and out and get that offense back on the field in good field position.
It's pin your ears back time on 3rd and 10, usually for Dwight Freeney, bottom of your screen. Robert Mathis at the top. They double Freeney, gave Pennington time with that marker down. Devon Best is about 4 yards shy of the first down. So let's check the flag.
Offside, defense number 98. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
We talked about it early. Chad Pennington used the hard count. Hut, and draw him offside. You see it right there. Against defensive ends that really ball key and listen to the quarterback, they want to get off the ball. You talk to every defensive lineman, they talk about get off. Right there, Pennington got him off before the snap.
Now 3rd and 5, much more manageable down and distance for this Dolphin offense.
Yeah, I'll come this way. You good?
Pennington eludes the rush and throws complete to Ginn for the first down at the 42. Good job in the pocket by Pennington.
Once again, Pennington just phenomenal with the pocket mobility. Focus downfield, waiting for someone to open up. Watch Chad right here. Surveys the field. Good pass protection by the offensive line of the Dolphins, keeping him clean, and he finds Ted Ginn for the first down.
Gain of 15, and very often to that first down, they've gone to the Wildcat with Ronnie Brown. Takes to Ricky Williams, takes it up the middle, and that pile push gets him about 5 yards there on first down. Chad Pennington with another completion. Peyton Manning, who we see in this game on nearly all of these lists, 3rd in NFL history with a minimum of 1,500 attempts. 2nd is Kurt Warner, but Chad Pennington is number 1 in the history of the league for guys who've thrown it 1,500 times. Completion percentage, 66%. Not long throws, not deep throws.
That's why he's a winner.
15-21 tonight.
And the Wildcat snap, this time it goes to Williams, and it was snuffed out by Tywan Hagler. Good job by the Colts linebackers.
What Miami lacks in this offense is explosiveness. You can see they're dominating the line of scrimmage. They're moving the chains. What they have to get is a manufactured explosive play by design, or a single player getting them that big play that puts them ahead in the ball game. But this is not their style of play. They're not an explosive football team.
The Wildcat does mask some of those inabilities to get the big play down the field, that long strike.
Well, Miami's 12 out of 16 on 3rd down, and this is one of the biggest they'll see tonight.
3rd and 7, a twist by the Colts defense. Pennington hits a good-sized play again with Ginn. Now the Colts are saying it's incomplete.
Once again, you can't say enough about the offensive line of the Miami Dolphins. Jake Long, who was abused a little bit last week by John Abraham, has come up big tonight against Dwight Freeney, allowing Pennington to get this ball deep down the field to Ted Ginn. That one he caught. Hangs on to the football.
The Colts were saying that he did not. That's pretty clear as he comes down there. He's still got control and he's down. That's a completion.
Absolutely.
The Colts were waving that he did not catch it. That's a very clean catch. And a 7th for Ginn tonight.
Props to the Dolphins O-line. They've been outstanding tonight.
34 to the bubble, and Ginn. Quick session drags him down.
Just remember, this drive has been kept alive by a Indianapolis penalty. They have jumped off sides tonight 4 times. Very uncharacteristic of an Indianapolis Colt defensive line, but fatigue has got to be setting in. Miami is going on their 69th play tonight.
Indy's only run 31, and now you start to look at the clock here with the game 20-20. And this play taking us almost inside of 5 minutes. Pennington's going to take a timeout. He'll milk the clock down as far as possible, and you see what John was talking about. We're late in the 4th quarter, and the Colts haven't even had it for a quarter's worth. Under 15 minutes. Wow. Timeout, Miami. To Arizona next Sunday night. So you have a couple of teams that have long road trips after an exhausting game and a short week ahead. Out of the Miami call timeout, 2nd and 10. Brown got past Freeney. A little bit of a block from Polite and goes out of bounds at the 30.
There was a critical play in this series on 3rd down with Chad Pennington, and he found Ted Ginn because he was able to get great pass protection from Jake Long and Justin Smiley. Here he gets rid of the football, and Ted Ginn gets open down the field. You'll see this here on 3rd and 5. To get the ball 20 yards downfield, you need protection. The Dolphins came up big, and Pennington delivered to Ted Ginn for the 1st down to keep this drive alive.
He's been incredibly productive converting 3rd downs.
13 of 17, Mike. That'll move the chains.
Quick handoff, Ronnie Brown there in field goal range. And from here, you're looking at about 46 yards, 45, 46 yards. Earlier in this half, Dan Carpenter missed from a couple of yards farther back. He missed from 49. He's converted from 44 and 45. And this one will be right at 45. For the lead, the 2nd-year kicker out of Montana. His punter Brandon Fields holds. John Denny, longtime long snapper. The operation is perfect, and the Dolphins retake the lead. Another 10-play drive. Freeney and the Colts defense is gassed. They've been on the field 71 plays tonight. They trail by 3. Been loud and energetic throughout the night of the home opener. The Colts are down 3, and they've been in this situation 100 times before. And now Taylor and Porter and the Miami defense will have to try to stop Manning and company. Let's see what Chad Simpson brings the ball to. Out to the 20. Not when Lex Hilliard, who's made 3 huge special teams hits here tonight. 80 yards for Peyton Manning to try to tie the game or take the lead. 44. Colts need a field goal to tie, and they start at their own 20. Jason Taylor and Joey Porter coming off the ends at Manning. Manning's got the rookie Donald Brown back there with him. I see a die on the sideline. He's been a part of a lot of those game-winning drives over the years. From the looks of it, a die's not hurt. Get the rookie Brown out there at the running back. 6 DBs and pressure on 1st down, and they go right to Reggie Wayne in front of the rookie Sean Smith. 15 1st down yards to the 35.
Mike, the Dolphins have what they call their fast dime on the field. 6 defensive backs, 1 defensive lineman, and they come with pressure on Peyton Manning. He knows he's got single coverage on the outside when he reads the blitz. This is a beautiful timing and rhythm throw to Reggie Wayne. Just beat Sean Smith.
That shoulder throw.
And John, just the 3rd catch for Wayne tonight. The 35, Manning to Dallas Clark in 2 plays, 32 yards.
Game on the line. Go to the guys that you trust. Reggie Wayne and Dallas Clark. You get Dallas Clark a clean release matched up against Jeremiah Bell. He's going to win that an awful lot. Dallas Clark is that hybrid tight end wide receiver. You get him in space, he is an excellent receiver. He runs wide receiver type routes. Peyton's reading that blitz look. He may take his shot here.
Got everybody in place. The blitz comes. He goes towards Garcon. Incomplete. As Will Allen just got in the way of the 2nd-year receiver.
You know, Peyton Manning takes a good look at the defense. He has 2 receivers on his right, 2 young guys, Colley and Garcon. He wants those two guys to run a slot combination. You two guys, do what I tell you to do with this hand signal. Garcon didn't get it done, but Peyton Manning gave him a shot.
Once again, it's a pressure look by the Dolphins. They're not sitting back and playing a bend and no-break defense. They're crowding the line of scrimmage, and they're going to bring the heat.
Manning gets rid of it to Garcon, who makes the catch, got a block downfield, and there goes Garcon. Nobody's waiting on him. Touchdown! The Sheriff gets his man again.
Peyton Manning read the blitz. A blitz beater is that bubble screen. Get the ball to probably your fastest wide receiver in Pierre Garcon. He takes it to the end zone. Excellent block from Austin Collie. Did they score too fast? That might be the question.
Vinatieri the extra point. 27-23. They went 80 yards in 32 seconds to take the lead.
What you're going to see right here is the pressure up the middle. They come clean, but Peyton Manning reads it. He understands it. He gets the ball out of his hand quickly to Pierre Garcon in space. Remember, they loaded up the line of scrimmage. Now watch Austin Collie with a nice kick-out block. You see Jeff Saturday out in the perimeter. Michael Pollock, the right guard out in play. When you get explosive plays in the pass game on screens, you have to have athletic offensive linemen. The Colts have a very athletic offensive line that got out in space and made the blocks down the field.
Hey, that's 12 years of work Peyton Manning has put into this no-huddle offense. He saw the full blitz coming. He read it. He signaled it. He got the coverage he wanted. Pierre Garcon showed his athletic ability, but he needs to give Peyton Manning a big assist.
How about that for your first NFL touchdown, if you're Pierre Garcon? Huh?
Unbelievable. I remember a couple years ago, Mike, we full blitzed Peyton Manning. He read it. He audibled. He threw a touchdown pass. He jogged right by me, and he said, "Are you kidding me?"
Well, here's my appreciation for Manning, guys. And you saw it on that drive as the Colts take the 4-point lead and get a deep kickoff. Oh, Cobbs decides to bring out from 7 yards deep, and he doesn't get back to the 20-yard line. So it makes it a long field. Go back to the touchdown, John.
Well, it's an audible. Peyton Manning takes a good look at the defense. He sees the blitz. You see the young receiver, Colley's going to come and get the kick out, and you're going to see linemen get involved in this screen as well. But Peyton Manning sees it, makes a good delivery. He gets the kick-out block. There you see the offensive lineman. Tom Moore told me Pierre Garcon can fly.
And what I appreciate is Manning, he had to do a lot of directing the young pups around it. You know, he's done that before, but Garcon and Collie and the running back Brown haven't been in that position before. And it all worked. Now the pendulum swings to Miami. Can they respond? They've done it mostly on the ground tonight. Ronnie Brown trying to shed tacklers on his own. Only gets a couple of yards. This hasn't been a quick strike night for Miami. Now they got to get going.
This is where the Colts love to play, the fourth quarter pass rush. Watch Dwight Freeney rush the passer. He gets cut. He realizes it's a draw. He stays alive. This is a guy that's played 70 plays in South Florida. This guy's stamina is unbelievable. His ability to retrace, find a ball, and make plays is rare.
What is Miami doing here? They're running the play clock down. They're in slow motion here. The ability to bleed the clock has been wonderful in their favor, but this is very costly time when you need a touchdown and your offense doesn't strike quick.
Yeah,
and now they have to take a timeout.
This is not what they do. They're not a come-from-behind football team. Chad Pennington will be tested, as will their offensive line in this series.
Well, they need a touchdown to win.
Yeah, you really, it's almost at the point where you should have been in no huddle. But at least, at worst, you're in hurry up, quick huddle, right? At that point?
Absolutely. And now you're behind in the down and distance. You have one timeout left. You have over 80 yards to go. Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis are licking their chops. You got work to do now. That's uncharacteristic of the Dolphins.
Yeah, Peyton Manning with the game on the line. You know what he can do. Here he finds the back shoulder throw to Reggie Wayne. He read the blitz there. He had man-to-man. He gets Dallas Clark matched up against Jeremiah Bell. He's going to win that matchup. Peyton Manning in the gun once again. Here comes the blitz. He saw it up the middle. He gets the ball out of his hand quickly with the bubble screen to Pierre Garçon. Takes it to the end zone. Put the Colts ahead.
2nd and 9. They go back to the run, and Brown. Foster's going to ride him here. Ronnie Brown's running really hard, but the fans are all over the Dolphins for running the ball here and not being more aggressive. And let's see, they're going to try to sneak in one more play before the 2-minute warning, and this is 3rd and a long 4. Didn't get it off, 2-minute warning. Not exactly a manual for clock management on this drive for Miami. They face 3rd and 4 at the 2-minute warning. No, not indeed, Stuart. Thank you very much. Colts leading by 4. Dolphins have just not done a good job on their first 2 plays of this drive. Now face a 3rd and 4 at the 2-minute warning with 1 timeout. Four receivers. Pennington play action. Up top. Caught by Ginn. First down at the 34. And let's see. Miami can do it in the air here. It's how they're going to have to get it down the field. Need a touchdown.
It's even kind of interesting. They ran play action on that 3rd and 5 situation.
Pennington throws to Ginn. 45-yard line, first down.
And that's job pass protection by the Dolphins the last 2 snaps. Indianapolis is using Raheem Brock as a rover rusher, but Jake Long is getting no help in the most critical time of the game, and he's doing an excellent job.
Just a yard short of the first down, 2nd and 1. Fasano, the tight end, got the first down, didn't get out of bounds. They only have 1 timeout left with 1:25 left. Change the move. It's a first down. And the fans, they know there's not a lot of quick strike here. They need every second they can get. Pennington, look out! Strip sack. The ball was picked up by Vernon Carey. It was Robert Mathis who forced a fumble. So good at it. And the clock still runs. And Miami, we have an injury. We have an injury for the Colts on the far side. Well, let's see. A timeout was called by Miami, and we have a Colts injury. Well, let's see what's going to happen here, how that's going to be called. The officials are going to discuss that right now.
Yeah, when the Dolphins have to spread the field, they're 3 and 4 wide looks. You're getting a short corner for Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis. Mathis going to be coming off the edge straight after.
The thing about Mathis is when he gets to the passer, he causes a fumble. This guy goes for the sack and the strip. Robert Mathis just caused his 27th fumble in the National Football League. John Tierlink, the defensive line coach of the Indianapolis Colts, coaches going for the strip. That guy right there, Mathis, doesn't get enough credit. Freeney, well-deservedly, gets a lot of it. That cat right there is a Pro Bowl player. These 2 guys are relentless, and combined, the 2 of them have caused 53 fumbles. Forget about the sacks. And that play right there was Indianapolis Colt football in their 4th quarter pass rush.
SportsCenter GMC postgame show coming up next. We just had an interesting conversation with the line judge and referee Terry McCauley. They were discussing what happened first, the injury to the Colts or the timeout by the Dolphins. They determined it was the timeout called by the Dolphins, which means Miami has none left. An injury in the last 2 minutes costs you a timeout, so it would have been automatically charged to Indy. But Terry McCauley says, no, we had the Pennington timeout first before the injured Colts player was recognized in the field. 2nd and 20, Miami's done with timeouts. Offside on Freeney. Pennington finds Devon Bess at the 46. Will decline the penalty and have 3rd and about a yard.
Offside, defense number 93. Penalties decline, 3rd down.
Gain of 18.
Pennington did a real nice job because there was outside pressure from Freeney and Matthews. Stepped up in the pocket and waited for Best to clear and got the ball to him. Freeney beats the snap count. You see a good punch there by Jake Long, the play action fake. Pennington did a nice job of reading the coverage and getting ball on the out route, getting the ball to the receiver Best on the out route.
Receiver went out of bounds, so the clock is stopped. 50 seconds left. They sneak in for the first down and get it at the 42. But now Pennington's got to get up and get moving. This is the slowest 2-minute drill I've ever seen. And now they'll clock it here on first down. Guys, I don't know. I mean, it's...
Well, there's 36 seconds left. You have no timeouts. You are going to have to push the football now. You are going to have to push the ball and be ready to clock it. Run down there and kill it. Very important that you preview these situations. Pennington knows he can't take a sack in this situation. But you got to get out of bounds. You got to be prepared to clock it. And you got to remember it's second down.
However, the Colts understand they're going to play the boundary. I think you do have a chance to get something down the middle. The Colts have stayed in that 2-deep zone. It looks like they're going to be in it again, so you may get an opportunity down the middle of the field.
Here's Pennington stepping up, looking deep. It's covered. He throws downfield for Ted Ginn, who couldn't make the play. Jacoby Lacey, rookie free agent, was in coverage. Ginn got 2 hands on the ball and couldn't make a big play.
Pennington put the ball. It was a long handoff. The ball was right on the hands of Ted Ginn. You have to make this play. Wow.
Ginn has caught 10 tonight. Couldn't bring that in. It's third down now. Pennington for Ginn. Incomplete. And now you're down to fourth down. You're absolutely right. Ginn's got a hold of it. You do credit Lacey, rookie free agent, hasn't been on the field much. Went up and got his hand on Ginn.
You'll see he gets hand on the ball, both hands on the ball before the defender is able to whack him on the back.
Well, how about Jacoby Lacey in the game? Where's Kelvin Hayden? Marlon Jackson? We already know Gerard Powers is out of the game.
So here we go. Fourth down as Parcells' team tries to avoid going 0-2 to start the season. Got to get 10. Pennington stepped up, throws. It is caught at the 30. It's a first down for Ginn. The clock's running. They've got to clock it.
They'll clock it. They'll get another play.
And now you're probably down to a snap with 6 seconds remaining in the game.
This is a situation you've got to go with the Hail Mary. You've got to put the ball into the end zone. The one thing I've noticed about this play, Ron, this situation, is they never call offensive pass interference.
That's right.
Put the ball up in the end zone.
These Colt defenders have been on the field for 83 plays tonight. The tank is completely empty. And now you're down to 1 snap as they're just trying to find enough to get one more pressure.
Your big receiver at 6'4" is Anthony Fasano. He's the one you could throw the high throw to if he can get to the end zone.
3 to the right, 2 to the left. Game comes down to this. Pennington throwing toward the end zone, and it is intercepted by Antoine Bethea, and the Colts win a game that they don't even have the ball for 15 minutes. They win 27-23.
You got to give your receiver a chance to make a play. Chad Pennington throws this up to the end zone. He's hoping for good fortune. Doesn't get it. Bethea undercuts Ryan Hartline to make the interception.
Here's Susie Culver with Peyton Manning. Suze?
Peyton, what is it like to lead a comeback with all the young guys?
Well, I had pretty good inspiration last night from a certain quarterback for the Giants. You know, he kept me up late. I usually go to bed a little bit earlier, but I saw how calm and cool Eli was, and he's got young receivers too. So I knew it could be done. Everybody was calm, you know, and Pierre was very patient. I mean, he was very more talkative than he has been all game, saying, "Hey, I can beat him, I can beat him." And of course, we didn't get many possessions, but boy, when he came up big, when we nearly needed him, he was really he was huge for us.
How do you spend so much time on the bench and still connect?
Well, I hate to say it, but we have done it before a few times. And so we just kind of stay loose over there and just know, hey, when we get the ball, we've got to be effective, especially in the second half. I don't think I've ever been in a half in the second half where we just had 2 possessions, or 3 possessions, I guess, and the first one really didn't count. So it was about being efficient when it counted in the fourth quarter, and that's really what the game's about.
Well, as a quarterback, you are now the Colts' all-time leader in wins. What's it mean to you?
Well, it's like I said last night in talking to Coach Gruden, I don't feel comfortable with these comparisons to Unitas, but I'm very proud to wear the same uniform as Johnny Unitas. He was a real winner, and I've been proud to be a part of a lot of wins, along with a lot of great players throughout the Colts organization since I've been here. It's a very humbling feeling.
Congratulations.
Okay,
Pete.
thanks, Susie.
Thank you, Susie. He's first class in so many ways. Pennington and their team did everything they needed to do until the end of the game. That was not an efficient drive at the end. You saw that graphic go by. I don't want to let it go by. Since they've been keeping time of possession stats in the mid-70s and data on it, no NFL team has won a game having the ball as little as Manning's offense did tonight, under 15 minutes. Incredible stuff. SportsCenter postgame coming up next here on ESPN with John Gruden, Ron Jaworski, Susie Cobb, our entire crew, Mike Tirico. Good night from Miami. The Colts are 2-0, the Dolphins 0-2. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Panthers Cowboys next Monday.
We'll see you next week in Dallas.
ESPN thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League.
You run for more than 200 yards, that usually equals victory. But it did not add up for the homestanding Dolphins. For all the reaction and highlights and thoughts from down in Miami, we get it down to Stuart Scott anchoring our coverage in South Florida. Stuart?
South Florida, right near Miami, for the GMC Sierra postgame report. We've been here a lot for Monday Night Football. The Miami Dolphins playing in their 74th Monday Night Football game, more than any team in the NFL. They don't have more wins. The Dallas Cowboys have that, but they were looking for a big win on this evening. What's up, Stuart Scott, Steve Young, Matt Millen? All of us picked the Colts to win this game.
How could you be? Look, when you have the ball for less than a quarter of the game.
Unbelievable.
That's basically you give up 200 yards to that point early in the Sports Center. What scenario do you win that football game?
This scenario,
that is the only scenario
is a scenario.
Manning in this scenario in Dallas Clark, because there is no other scenario that I can imagine. It was unbelievable the plays that they made.
Peyton Manning going for some history, trying to win his 119th career game, which would tie him with Johnny Unitas for 5th all time. It would also jump ahead of Johnny Unitas on the all-time Colts list because Johnny U had one with the Chargers. Let's check out the highlights. Peyton Manning doing his thing. Here we go. First quarter. First play from scrimmage. Steve, Matt doesn't know about this, and here we go. Peyton Manning complete to Dallas Clark. 80-yard touchdown. Dallas breaking off something real proper, like 335th career touchdown pass for Peyton. Second time he's opened the game with an 80-yard touchdown pass. Steve, how did it go down?
It's all play action. You can see Aiken Adele. You come up a little bit on the play action, and Dallas Clark and Peyton Manning, is there any two guys in this league that are more on the, quote, same page? They could not be stopped all day long.
And you can be on the same page all you like, but you got to make that tackle.
Check out Tiger Woods saying, nice job, Peyton, right after the touchdown. Ties the quickest touchdown in Monday Night Football history. Later in the first, Miami's Wildcat offense on the anniversary of the Wildcat, doing some things. Ronnie Brown. Hey, Matt, Steve called it a fad. What do you call it?
I call it a touchdown right here, and the reason it's a touchdown is like we said at the start. The numbers favor you when you run this offense.
Ronnie Brown, 14-yard touchdown. Matt, how did it go down?
Real simple. Just take the fake. But the important part here was nice blocking on the interior. The offensive line did a great job, and then Brown does the rest.
Now, Tiger wasn't quite as happy about that when Dolphins tied the game at 7. Second quarter, Miami, some missed-scoring chances. Chad Pennington, play fake, throws down the middle to Anthony Fasano. Can't hang on. Steve, why not?
Well, you know what? Chad Pennington, very accurate passer, but he gets hit. That would be a spectacular catch. A fingertip catch.
Antoine Bethea broke it up. 2 plays later, 3rd and 9, Pennington throwing deep to Ted Ginn Jr. in the end zone.
Short-armed it. Can't do that. The National Football League boys, you get paid to make those catches. Catch the ball.
Dolphins forced to kick a field goal. They're up 10-7. 8 seconds to go in the half. Manning facing a 3rd and 10. Manning getting his hook on the left side to Dallas Clark.
Well, just like we said earlier, Steve, you said it. When they're on the same page, and when they're on like that, it's like they see the same things and they feel the same things.
That brings on Adam Vinatieri, who earlier had his 500th career extra point. Getting some bananas luck here. Hits the goalpost and bangs its way in. We are tied at 13 at recess. Third quarter. Can a brother get some Joey Porter? Big fella. Bringing that pain, isn't he?
You ought to block him. I don't. Maybe I just an idea. I don't.
Just a thought.
I would maybe put somebody on him.
He had like 17 sacks last year, 17 plus. Just saying. 2 plays later, 3rd and 11. Manning under pressure, throws it incomplete to the left. And who was bringing the
got Joey Porter on the other side again.
They double teamed him this time, but they hurt us. Still didn't matter.
It says the Colts were forced to punt. I'm going to say Joey Porter forced them to punt. Ensuing Dolphins drive. Miami putting together a long series. Pennington to Devon Best for the first down.
Nice patience in the pocket, just waiting for him to clear. Finds the middle open and makes the first.
Then on 3rd and 6 to the former Ohio State man, Ted Ginn Jr. And, you know, most people don't know this. The career leader for completion percentage in the NFL is Chad Pennington. And then Ronnie Brown with the...
nice first down.
Nice first down. What'd you call it? A fad?
Fad.
Yeah, whatever. Manning and the Colts had 3 plays in the third quarter. That's it. 3. Fourth quarter. Brown up the middle for a touchdown. The drive for Miami, 13 plays, 80 yards. It took almost 9 minutes off the clock.
Stu, right there, Miami was doing everything they had to do. They were doing it right, and they were in control.
Peyton Manning doesn't need that much time. Right side to Dallas Clark. It almost looks like the touchdown broke a tackle. He doesn't score, but a gain of 49 yards. Colts in Miami territory. Later in the drive, Ronnie Brown plays for the Dolphins. Donald Brown, the rookie out of UConn. First career touchdown, 15 yards.
A lot of power inside right there, and a good job at the interior of the offensive line of the Colts to get them free.
They tied the game at 20. Next Miami drive, 3rd and 7. Pennington looking for Ginn. Finds Ginn.
In many ways, this is as good as the Dolphins can play.
It is.
It's as well as they can run. 3rd down conversions, they were dominant. I did not like the run before this field goal.
45-yard field goal was good. Miami up 23-20. Dwight Freeney's like,
should be.
Hey, it is muggy out here this evening. Manning throws to Reggie Wayne, 16-yard gain and a first down. We told you, they didn't run many plays in the second half. They didn't need them. Manning to Dallas Clark for the first down.
Only one thing has to be said. Great players make great plays when the game is on the line.
We've talked about his rookie receivers. Pierre Garçon is one. The man that never scored an NFL touchdown until right there.
And they played man-to-man all 3 plays. And you can't be that consistent with Peyton Manning. He will eat you up.
Either that or you got to play better man-to-man.
Colts get the lead. Here comes Miami, one last chance. Chad Pennington to Ted Ginn, incomplete. They have one last chance, 6 seconds on the clock. Pennington looking, and he finds the wrong dude. Antoine Bethea, interception, ball game. So the Indianapolis Colts, who had the ball for less than 15 minutes in the game, who ran only 13 total plays in the second half, beat the Miami Dolphins 27-23. Ridiculous. For Peyton Manning, his 37th career come from behind victory, either fourth quarter or overtime, tied for second among all-time active players. And interestingly, Peyton does it one night after his brother Eli Manning did the same thing down in Dallas. Steve, you alluded to it before the highlight. The other team puts up more than 200 yards rushing. You pass the ball, you only run 13 plays, you have the ball for less than a quarter, and yet you win. How?
Didn't we come into this game talking about the Colts' big play possibilities are kind of gone? And he throws for over 12 yards an attempt, and then he does it to rookies. He did Dallas Clark we saw, but there were 2 rookies on the field at times. They didn't run the ball at all. This was kind of worst-case scenario for the Colts. They come out with a victory because Peyton Manning makes defenses they can't be right. There's impossible for you to be right. He will make you wrong no matter what you do. And you play man at the end of the game, you're going to get beat.
You know what he did? He just threw them open. He was on. This is a great example of, look, just give yourself a chance and Manning's going to find you. was a great weekend for the Mannings. But I got to tell you, for the Miami Dolphins, that's as good as they can play. They did everything they wanted to do. They went into this game and they said, listen, if we maintain the ball and we beat them in time of possession 3-1, and if we outrush them and we control the football, and if we keep Manning on the sidelines, we're going to
We're almost clean. We're not going to have a lot of penalties. We're not going to turn it over.
Yeah.
You can't ask more from the Dolphins.
So what's the difference? One big deal. They cannot make a big play. Steve and I were talking about it on the sideline. Their big play capability is absolutely gone. They don't have it. And so
everything they do, you saw the Colts, they had to earn very little. The yards after catch were enormous. So you get those big plays. It negates what I think was really a phenomenal play, running game by Ronnie Brown. At the end of the day, you can't give up those huge plays. I've never been around an NFL game where you have the ball for less than 15 minutes and all those stats we just talked about, and you win. But the only way you can win is have big play after big play. And the biggest issue, again, to repeat, is that these are not the Colts of last year. These are a lot of new faces. What's the one common face?
Peyton Manning. Another thing, too, Steve, they've been there before. You know, you've heard the old cliche, act like you've been there before. Well, they've been there before. They've been in big games. They've been down to the wire games. They knew they only had so much time and the defense had to be able to handle things. They did it flawlessly. I mean, they acted like they were there before.
Here's something else that the Colts did. We talked about time of possession. The exact time of possession, 14 minutes, 53 seconds in a win. It's the lowest time of possession that any NFL team has had in a win since 1977. Coming into this game, we talked a lot about the fact that Peyton Manning lost his future Hall of Famer, his buddy Marvin Harrison. They hooked up for 112 career touchdown passes together.
New coach.
They got a new coach. The other kid, Anthony Gonzalez, who's Marvin's heir apparent, he's out injured. You can't just focus on Reggie Wayne because they can double Reggie Wayne. Why and in what ways is Dallas Clark so important to Peyton and the Colts?
Well, I think the biggest thing is they have a chemistry. That's the one thing. And then secondly, it's more than that. It transcends chemistry because Steve and I were standing on the sideline at the end of the game, and he just leaned over to me and he said, they're on the same page. And he had that. He had that with Jerry Rice. And there are some times when you're seeing the same things, you're feeling the same things, and they click. Tonight was one of those nights.
You know, and there's also subtleties to it because I wish there was a play you could there's times when Dallas Clark's covered coming across the field. Peyton waits and waits and waits, and he breaks open almost at the numbers. Right. Then he delivers him the football, and he's on the run. So there's little things, just like that play there, where you can't be right. And if you play that well and you're on that same page in the NFL, the Dolphins can play this way again and win most games. The Colts can't play this way again and win a lot of games. So that's the thing I take from tonight is that if you learned anything tonight, the Colts can't keep this up.
Well, they can't keep their defense on the field for 45 minutes a game.
You saw Dwight Freeney. You saw Dwight Freeney, who was basically married to the oxygen because he was on the field. You know, if they were had the offensive possession for 14 minutes, their defense is on the field for 46 minutes in this game.
But remember why I picked the Colts before. Last year, similar situation, a lot of transition. Remember, Peyton was hurt. And what did he do? He kind of wills his teams early to get those leads and figure out ways to win. I saw it last year, him drag the whole team with him. You saw it today. All the things breaking against them and making big plays to go win.
So the Colts struggled last week, but they get a win. The Colts struggled in this game Monday night, and they get a win.
There's a theme here.
They're 2-0. They're the Indianapolis Colts. They have the NFL record right now, 6 straight seasons with at least 12 wins. It looks like they're going to make it 7. I know it's early, but they do have Peyton Manning. We have Scott Van Pelt, Steve Levy, Trent Dilfer back in the studio in Bristol, guys.
All right, Stuart, thanks very much. And I don't want to hear Peyton Manning complaining about how tired he is. I hardly played in the second half. We're going to roll out the red carpet here. They rolled out an orange carpet. Of course, the Dolphin colors, all those celebrities coming into play tonight. And Matt addressed it. I mean, the Dolphins' game plan, check. They played about as well as they can, and they're staring at 0-2. What do you take away from this now from Miami?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, really, you talk about a game plan for the Miami Dolphins. They went out and executed exactly what they wanted to. 45 minutes time of possession, 239 yards rushing the ball, a power attack out of the Wildcat formation, not gimmicky plays. Chad Pennington, very efficient. Chad Pennington attacking the perimeter of the football field. I mean, this is everything you want as the Miami Dolphins. They set it up with the draw play. There's two ways to attack the Indianapolis Colts defense in the run game. The draw play, they get two big chunks here, and then the power play. They did a great job running this power play, both out of the Wildcat and out of standard formations. This spreads the formation out. It's a gap scheme. The tackle blocks on. You get the guard pointing, you get the fullback kicking out inside. Easy running lanes for the running back. Absolute gashes all game long. It couldn't have worked out any better. It was like they could dial up a run play and get what they wanted out of it, and then they have great answers off the Wildcat. Right here, you're going to see it again, the power play. Guard pulling, Judson Smiley, fullback up inside. Ronnie Brown hitting the hole hard. They had reverses off of it. This is everything you wanted. The problem is you lose a game. And I honestly cannot explain how you lose that type of football game when you execute a game plan perfectly.
How demoralizing is it? This is something we were talking about before we came on the air here. Just to put it in baseball terms, you get a walk, you steal a base, you bunt them to third, you get a sac fly, you manufacture a run. That's sort of what Miami had to do. And then, and Indianapolis is at bat, so to speak. They just hit a bomb in the upper deck, home run. Okay, now can you do it again? So you do everything you can, and then to Matt's point, you don't necessarily have the home run threat. So now when you've got to run a sort of a 2-minute drill, that's not, you don't have enough time to score a touchdown. I mean, I can't imagine if you're Miami, you walk away from this feeling any of the positives, even though you should, to the points you just described.
No, and it gets worse as the week goes on. This is why, because you're being preached, hey, this is our formula for success. We're going to run the football, we're going to control the clock, we're going to make enough plays to win, we're going to play good defense. You go out and you do it, and you lose. And then you get stuck in a 2-minute situation where you have an opportunity to go down and win the football game, and you start the 2-minute drill appropriately. You get some first downs, you start moving the ball, questionable issue on a 3rd one to do the quarterback sneak, and then you have a chance to make the play in the end zone. The quarterback Pennington steps up, nice clean pocket, delivers a dime in the end zone. Teddy Ginn has an opportunity to go up and make a play, and you can't make it. And as you sit on that all week long as a team, you say, wow, we did what we're supposed to do when we needed to make a play. We couldn't make it. How are we going to do this the rest of the football season?
Wonder if Peyton Manning actually needed a shower. Probably didn't. The lack of amount of now when he made the play, he made the play.
Right.
But here he is post-game addressing the media.
Audible, how did that all?
Well, yeah, we checked. It wasn't audible. They were, that last drive, they really sat back most of the game, played a lot of double man coverage, what we call 2-man, and on that last drive, on the first play of the series, that they blitzed, about a safety blitz, and so it looked like it was a little change in philosophy there, for that drive. We hit Reggie on a little quick, kind of a fade route to the sideline, and so I'm trying to think, we hit Dallas on a play. It was not versus the blitz, but they blitzed 2 plays in a row, once on the takeoff down the right sideline to Pierre, and then they came back with it again. So just recognized it and, checked to the audible. So wide receiver screen out to Pierre. And, of course, you're looking for the first down. And, when you're down 3, it's always I think it's a tough scenario because I was watching Michigan State Notre Dame the other day, and it was down 3. I saw that game, and it's it's one of those where you want to score to win the touchdown, but you gotta ensure that you tie the game and send the game into overtime. I think when you're down 4, it allows you to be a little more aggressive. So it was a call trying to move the chains, but it was audible for the right time at the right occasion, and got good blocking downfield from Austin Collie and the receiver and the offensive line. And Pierre has got good speed. He really has great speed, and he showed it on that play.
That's the fewest amount of time a team's had it in a win. Did it feel like you didn't?
Ever?
Yeah.
It felt like, yeah, I would agree with that. And we've had some games before that we've sat on the sideline, but I've never seen a third quarter like that where you just feel like you didn't really let her out there in the second half. And we knew, you can kind of get away with it in the first or second quarter. You say, we got to get something going. In the fourth quarter, he said, hey, it's time to go. We've got to go score. We were down 7 and went to our 3 wide receiver package on first and second down as opposed just to third down, and wanted to try to take advantage of some of that man coverage. They really doubled Reggie about all the entire game. So nothing to take away from that rookie corner, but they gave him safety help. So I never like it when they say, boy, somebody, a player took Reggie Wayne out of the way. It was him and a safety and a linebacker together. So out of respect to Reggie, there were some other guys that had to win. And Dallas, boy, he was huge. And, nothing like starting the first play of the game with a touchdown. And Dallas, I was glad we got that one in.
Have you ever done that before? First play of the game, touchdown pass?
Yeah.
Hey, 119 for you. You're the winningest.
I've kind of said it, a couple of times during the week. I've never felt comfortable with these comparisons to Johnny Unitas. I'm very proud to wear the same uniform as him. He was very nice to me the times that I was around him, and Johnny Unitas was a winner. And my dad, I never saw him play, but my dad has told me a lot about him and what he meant to, of course, to the city of Baltimore, but what he meant to the NFL. So it's very humbling to be, mentioned in some of these same categories and individual records, but this is a team record. I mean, and a lot of people have been a part of, those wins. A lot of great coaches, and of course, a lot of great players. Some that aren't here anymore. So it's a very humbling, achievement.
To make it extra special, since it was a comeback win, you're 37th on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I mean, the last time we played down here on Monday night, it wasn't a whole lot of fun. Back in 2001, so it was a long time coming to kind of to play a little better. So it was, our first road win. Coach Caldwell put a lot of emphasis on trying to get our road team established. He knew it was going to be tough. Miami's an excellent team. We knew it was going to go down to the fourth quarter. We were just hoping we'd have a chance to win it in the end, and we scored. And our defense, held them when it counted. So it's a good win. It's a short week. We'll have our hands full with Arizona next week.
It's early, but to speak to having a 2-game.
Hey, Steve, obviously another unbelievable performance by Peyton Manning. What strikes me is the guy just never flinches, regardless of the circumstance. Are you taken back a little bit how he doesn't become frustrated in these types of football games? He's sitting over there on the sidelines, doesn't have the ball in his hand. Wouldn't there become a point where you think he'd become impatient, make bad decisions when he gets back on the field?
Well, I don't know that he needs to be impatient. It seems like they still kind of peck away, but they get that big yards after catch. He puts the ball in places where people to be successful, Trent. As a quarterback, that accuracy is the key. You look at those big plays, every ball was moving and put the receiver in the position to go after and gain those extra yards. So I don't know that that there's a lot of stress on that offense. I do think in the long run, this is a kind of game where the Colts say, hey, if we have to repeat this, I don't know that we can do this 16 games in a row, maybe not even another time. So there's some things to take away from this. But Peyton Manning, to me, lines up to Matt's point early in the game, before the game. It's not a complicated set out of the huddle, but it becomes complicated as they run their routes, read zone and man, and you need everybody on the, quote, same page. And that's why Dallas Clark was the key, because he's the guy that he was covered a lot of times and then broke free late in routes all the way to the numbers and across. Peyton would wait, have the time and deliver. And you know what? The defense is doing their job, but Peyton's just that much better in being patient and waiting for his opportunities and then striking. And when he strikes tonight, it was a thing of beauty.
Yeah, I'm just amazed how, when he doesn't have the football in his hands, he doesn't have the opportunity to gain a rhythm, and how precise he is, how accurate he is, like you're saying, how well he directs the line of scrimmage with limited opportunities in these types of games. I think you'd agree. I know my experience was always easier to play the quarterback position when you got into a rhythm, when you had a lot of plays, when you kind of had the freebie completions, and then you can set up the big play. It seems like in this profile of offense, Peyton, he doesn't have those opportunities to get himself in a rhythm. He has to come out from the opening bell and be on fire down the football field. And of all my time watching football, I can't think of a guy that can come out and throw the ball more accurately down the field to start a football game and maintain that type of excellence as the game goes on.
Well, Trent, the only guy I know like that is Tom Brady. And you saw yesterday when you're not protected. And Peyton's the same when he doesn't get protected. He got protected so well today, he could wait for Dallas Clark to come open. That was the difference. Tom didn't get that chance yesterday, and you saw the results. So those are two that I would say have that ability to come out game after game and connect. And you can now tell that if they protect Peyton, even if they can't run the football, which I think could be a problem down the road, but if they don't run the ball, but they still protect him, he can find and wait for the right opportunities and strike. And he'll take those little dump-offs. He'll take the flat route for the first down, and then, boom, he'll make the big play down the field. And, again, yards after catch. If you think of all the big plays today, what was the screen? It was behind the line of scrimmage almost. Ends up being the play of the game for the touchdown.
He delivered that ball 5 yards, and then but he put it in the spot now to send his receiver upfield. Everybody executes as he said. So the Colts have been doing this a long time. That's why this organization makes such a big difference. They can take a new coach. They can take a loss of Marvin Harrison. They can take Gonzalez that goes out because they have people and the structure and the people around them. And Bill Polian's built such stability that at the end of the day, Stu, I think that's why we say Colts, Patriots, Steelers, Titans, Giants. Those teams are going to be able to replace, like the Giants have the receivers. They continue to replace people and stay on top of their game.
Midnight Eastern, right here, Sports Center going strong. We still got a lot more to do. 9 p.m. right now on the West Coast. We are going back over and further reviewing this incredible Monday Night Football game, which capped off Week 2 of the season. You saw one of the reporters ask Peyton, have you ever started the game with an 80-yard touchdown pass? And Peyton was kind of modest and said, yeah. It's actually better.
Maybe 5 times.
No, actually, back in 2001, he hit Marcus Pollard with an 86-yard touchdown pass against the Saints.
He remembers it, and he knew it was 86. He just didn't want to say.
Exactly right. That's exactly right.
All right, guys, the Miami Dolphins. Steve, you called the Wildcat a fad. Ronnie Brown had his 14th career 100-yard rushing game. He had a $136 on the ground. Like you said, they did everything right. There's no such thing as a moral victory. But what can they take from this game in the locker room and say, we're on the right track?
Watching the Wildcat in person, I would say that the way they run it and the way that Ronnie Brown runs it, it certainly works.
It's not so faddish.
But here's the bottom line. I still believe that that defense allowed big plays. They should have limited all those plays. A great defense has the speed to limit those plays. An offense can run the football, but yet they had to work so hard for their points, and they didn't need that. They don't have that big play capability. Even in that go-ahead field goal, they had great third down conversions. Ted Ginn twice. I mean, that's as much as you can ask from Chad and from Ted. They get down there 3rd and 6. They run the football, almost setting up for the field goal.
Yeah, because it didn't even look like they were trying to break it. They just were trying to get position.
You can't beat Peyton Manning by kicking field goals. And if you're going to set up to kick a field goal, to my mind, you're setting up to lose. So as much as they did, I don't know that they finished the game in a way, in a mindset that said, we need to outscore this team, even though we've inched up and fought to get down here. We need to put it in. So there's things that I would say to the Dolphins that cost them the football game. It wasn't like they played perfectly.
Well, one of the things that didn't cost them the game, though, was the Wildcat. Now, I want to go back to this because here's the bottom line with that. We talked about it on the top of the show, and what it really does is it evens up the numbers. The running game is all about numbers, and when you start seeing guys pull from the backside, they leave the backside end unblocked. You gain an extra man on the front side, and so all you're really doing is you come to the line of scrimmage and you split that running game right down the middle, and you say, oh look, they have 5 guys over here. We have 5 guys over here. We can block them. We can get a hat on a hat. And guess what? If I pull somebody from the backside, leave that backside end, we gain an advantage. And that's what you saw here tonight.
There's also a difference, though, in the way that the Dolphins run the Wildcat compared to some other teams. Some of the other teams that do it, they'll split their quarterback. And we talked about that before the game because
that's a waste. I think this is the way to do it. There's no question.
Well, I mean, you can do this, but let me tell you something, Stu. Whether it's a wide receiver lined up out there or it's a quarterback line up there, it really doesn't matter because you still have to account for him. You still have to put somebody out there. So that's just all you're doing is you're taking a guy and you're getting him out of there. That's it. And then it's all numbers. Listen, when I was in 3rd grade, I watched a movie called Donald Duck in Mathematic Land.
They had movies when you were in 3rd grade?
As my son would say, monkey math?
Yeah.
That's monkey math.
All it does is come back to simple, basic numbers. That's all the running game is. You know that as well as anybody.
As long as you're executing, there's no question about that's right.
So, and that's what they did tonight, and they did a great job. The problem was, like we said in the front end, they did absolutely everything right, and they still came up with a loss.
And I think at the end of the day, it's because they lacked that big play.
Right.
And that's what you saw. Right. That's the glaring story from tonight. Big play Colts, no big play Dolphins, and they did everything else and they lose. But I would say about the Colts defense, I don't know that they played the Wildcat or anything else really well tonight. I mean, you take away from this game, what'd you learn? Peyton Manning's really good. The rest of the team,
I'll tell you something else you learned. That Indianapolis Colts defense is in pretty darn good shape because they run for 70 plays. 70 plays. You got to be kidding me.
Tell you something else that we learned. The Miami Dolphins continue to struggle when they start a season. For the 4th straight year, they're starting 0-2. Let's take a look at their schedule coming up. It does not get any easier. Next week, they go up against a team that a lot of people say has the best talent in the league, the San Diego Chargers. Week 4, the Buffalo Bills. Week 5, the Jets. We all know what they're doing this season. Week 6, it's going to be easier because they have a bye. And then Week 7, they're playing the team that's basically breaking scoreboards around the league.
They are.
The New Orleans Saints, who are 2-0. Can the Dolphins recover from this? Yeah. Last year, they started 0-2, won the division, made the playoffs. Can they recover to at least make the playoffs this year?
Yeah, they can. And the reason they can is because they're not going to run into a big play offense every week. Yeah, that's the bottom line. And if they continue to run the football and they play good, solid defense, I mean, they gave up 27 points tonight, which, you generally don't win those games. But if they play good defense and they control the football, it's not going to be like this all the time. So they'll win their share of football
but watching this Dolphin offense, this is not an offense that's going to score mid-20s every week. So to win football games, that defense is now to get more aggressive and hold teams under 3 touchdowns. You look at those teams coming up, can you hold those teams under 3 touchdowns? I see a couple that probably not. So I see trouble for the Dolphins if they can't limit by defense, offensive scoring some points, because they're not going to score 31-28 a ball game. It's not going to happen.
But the one good thing for the Miami Dolphin defense is they hardly played at all, so they're going to be really well rested for the next 5 games.
You can't give up 300 yards passing in 23 attempts, 12 completions. Come on, make a tackle. This wasn't like long bombs that went for 80 yards. These were 5-yard completions, 10-yard completions that went the distance.
First play of the game, that you got to make that tackle.
On Dallas Clark?
Yeah, I think that was Gabriel Wilson coming over the top. You got to make that play. You can't do that. It's the National Football League. What happens is what you saw. 80 yards, you're out the gate, and you're down 7 points.
Everybody got a grandmama named Big Mama, and Big Mama always has some sage advice like, if you're not going to say anything good, don't say anything at all. One good thing for the Dolphins, they've been worried and wondering how Ted Ginn is going to be as a wide receiver long term. And this game, 11 catches for Ted Ginn, 108 yards. Not quite enough, though, as the Miami Dolphins fall to 0-2. The Indianapolis Colts move to 2-0. The Wildcat put up some big yards. Ronnie Brown was doing his thing with the $136 on the ground, but that man, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. Mark Anthony and J-Lo and Tiger all watch Peyton Manning and the Colts come back to beat the Dolphins. That's it from us from Miami.
The GMC Sierra Postgame, brought to you by the GMC Sierra, the official vehicle of the NFL. Go to ESPN.com and search GMC to take the Engineered to Win Trivia Challenge.